I didn't think I'd be doing this, but here I am. Here I am. If I'm acting weird today, which I'm starting off good, it's because my girlfriend's at home and I want to be respectful towards her. It's also quite late here. It's 7 in the evening and people are at home and I don't want to disturb them. Why is my microphone so hot though? What if I turn it down just a smidge? There we go. Much better. So that oh, right. Now I remember. I was doing shit. Filters. Or was I? Oh well. Anyway. Anywho. Sorry for not posting videos. Sorry for not streaming. I've been taking a summer hiatus and it's been awesome. And I'm gonna continue this hiatus after I break everything down. This all actually started. See, I need to. I've been a good boy today. I promise. But that doesn't always help me. I thought I wanted to talk about something else first, but I guess I'm just going to jump right into it. Now that I think about it. Yeah, we're going to do that. Give me a second. I'm going to pull up the necessary tweets. A lot of things have happened since I last streamed. Lots of things. I'm just going to gloss over all of that. I'm not going to talk about Twitter's new name. I'm not going to talk about DeSantis hiring neo-Nazis, which, duh, of course he did. I'm just going to jump right into the controversy. I just need to find my tweet first. And I need to open a sock account. Because someone thought it was funny to block me. I don't understand why. Oh, wow. Okay. This all started, for me at least, I had no... Why can't you see me? There we go. This all started because I had no intentions of doing anything at all with this particular controversy, because for me it's such a non-controversy in its aggregate that I don't really care that much. But the more I looked into it, the more I realized how much I actually should care and how right I was in my critique of it. So, this Bloomberg article comes out with just the most milquetoast opinion ever, but it's written by a known person to any follower of Shoe0nHead. And by the way, I need to... What if butts had boobs? I'm just pointing that out. Anyway, this article was written by a guy who Shoe has exposed as at the very least, a pedo apologist. So he's not good. He's horrible, even, most likely. I wouldn't trust I wouldn't trust another person's child with him. Let me put it that way. So he's telling her and everyone not to watch it because it's a QAnon movie. And I, being a good boy, I said, you shouldn't watch Sound of Freedom, though. But not because this guy said it, but because it's propaganda for QAnon conspiracies. Did you see it? If so, what parts of the movie are QAnon or conspiracy theories? Did I watch it? No. Fuck no, I didn't. I've also not watched Birth of a Nation, but can confidently tell you it's KKK propaganda. I've also not watched Cuties, but can tell you that it's pedophilic. This is going to become important later on. Did I watch it? No. Fuck no, I didn't. Then shut up. Okay. I think not. I think I'm going to continue to speak. I don't... Okay. I do not follow this account. I do not follow this account on this account. I have almost no following. I follow almost no one on that account. It's a sock puppet. Don't worry about it. So that's how everything started. Now, what happened? What did I experience after Shoe did this to me? What could have happened after this? Well, first of all, Shoe decided, she's going to retweet, or she's going to tweet an image, because she blocked me, of our conversation. Now, that's kind of bad form, if you ask me. At the very least, it's bad form. If nothing else, it's a subtweet. But you can see here, it's extensive. And you saw my tweet. I had something else there. I don't know why well, I do know now. But at the time, I'm like, why did you crop it? Does my opinion seem less extreme if you don't crop it? And if so, why did you crop it? There's no need to crop it. Her point here is you need to watch it before you can critique it. Well, fine, if you're going to critique the movie, but I'm not critiquing the movie here. But I'm getting ahead of myself. And then people here respond. And what about these responses? It's literally based on a true story, said the Russian Orthodox guy. The Russian Orthodox person. Sure. Based on a true story is literally the biggest cop-out in movie history. Anyone taking based on a true story serious ever again should be discredited outright. There's no... I can't reason with you if you believe that based on a true story means shit. If this was in the 1950s and based on a true story came out, yeah, I couldn't fault anyone. But now? Jeez. What else? I refuse to challenge my personal beliefs. It's called being a good human being. This isn't what I wanted to, but whatever. There was, let me just... where is it? Here. So how is this movie? No, I'm actually getting my head. I'm worried about how to lay out the groundworks for this this for this piece. But safe to say, people were calling me names. And why I can't find them now, I do not know. It is actually quite strange. Why are they gone? What if I go here? And I go... Oop. Oh, right. Here we go. Here we go. Perfect. I have acquired my first... my first stalker, it seems. I send out this tweet going, the straights are at it again. Why are they sexualizing girls this early? Where's the Republican outrage? Where is it? Where is the Republican outrage over this goddamn shirt? I'm not seeing it, and it's more creepy than anything I've ever seen. And here's the stalker who I acquired after Shoe blasted me, okay? Hello, Hooter sucks. Find something else to justify your grooming, bud. Justify my grooming? I'm calling it out, bud. But yeah, so I am being called a groomer. I'm, of course, being called things I cannot say on Twitter because I would get unverified immediately. Immediately. Here. It started off, you don't watch blah, 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 QAnon conspiracy, predator alert. It's propaganda for the organization, blah, blah, blah. Okay, groomer. Oh, no, I want that one, actually. Or here. Okay, groomer. With the super good 4-flag swastika. Oh yeah. Yeah. Let's go to and these are just the people who haven't blocked me or who isn't hiding their tweets or haven't been deleted or suspended or whatever, you know? These are the ones that persist. Now, have I watched the movie? No. There was one thing, but we're going to get to that, that made me interested in watching the movie. Had I known about it and not seen it, but now that I've seen it, I've already seen it. But we're going to get to that. It's included in the Shoe0nHead video. So the first video that I got that we're going to start with, because we're not going to start with the Shoe0nHead video. The first video I got made around this drama circus was from Decoy Voice. I haven't saved that, of course. Decoy Voice. And he puts out a lot of videos.
That's the movie.
So let's just watch this, and I'm going to critique it. I'm going to respond to it. And then we're going to move to Shoe0nHead and the actual slanderous statements she's made against me.
We're getting refunds for the Sound of Freedom because apparently the water pressure in the bathrooms aren't working here. So no one can walk.
Yes, of course. These are conspiracy theorists who, whenever anything bad happens, they blame the conspiracy. They're not serious people. They are looking for things that aren't there. This summer heat has been one of the hottest. This has been one of the hottest summers. No, sorry, scratch that. This has been the hottest summer in recorded history, bar none. So things breaking that usually works, yeah, that makes kind of sense actually. They're acting as if this is global conspiracy. No, it's just global warming, climate change. It's yeah.
Smelled almost like an electrical fire.
So my fiance and I just watched
I don't know what they were spraying there. I don't know why they were spraying it. I don't know.
the movie Sound of Freedom. It was hot as heck. I literally brought a sweatshirt.
AC's breaking because of the amazing heat. Yeah.
And I was like sweating.
But they didn't turn the lights off.
They literally had the lights on.
I can't explain that.
The entire movie.
Who does that?
So I just tried to watch the sound
Why didn't you go tell anyone though?
of freedom. They're saying that there was technical difficulty.
The Sound of Freedom is a movie about terrible crimes that a lot of Hollywood elites are accused of. So last week when we
And should I have started there? Yeah, maybe. So a lot of Hollywood elites are accused of this. Okay, let's keep that in mind. We don't trust the Hollywood elites. Fair enough.
we covered how the corporate dinosaur media was basically panicked into trying to convince the peasant class to avert their eyes from, we're now seeing non-stop social media posts about people actually being blocked from seeing this movie. Now granted, the Sound of Freedom film is being played in hundreds of theaters nationwide, with multiple showings a day in movie theaters that have been a dying industry for many years that are likely on their last breath. So it wouldn't be out of the question that these theaters have always been falling apart, and we just never noticed. But
How time moves forward. When the theaters were new, they were not falling apart, but time moves forward. We had COVID. How much maintenance do you think movie theaters put into their systems, put into their water pipes, put into their light systems? They probably assumed they were gonna die out after COVID. Like nobody was gonna go watch the movies. That's probably what they thought, and that's probably why they didn't maintain their facilities. It's not, again, it's the most simple explanation. It's Occam's razor, and you guys are just jumping off over the shark.
But I feel like movies like Top Gun and Super Mario Bros. Have done incredibly well recently.
By the way, I just watched Top Gun last night. Top Gun Maverick. I've watched Top Gun a million times, probably. Not a million times. I also rewatched Top Gun with my girlfriend. And Top Gun was a great movie. It's a classic. I mean, it's you have to watch it with the era appropriate glasses to like the extended intro over music, the repeated music over and over and over and over, the extended love scene, and it's kind of corny in that way, but it's still a good movie. Top Gun Maverick? Why was anyone Rotten Tomatoes Top Gun Maverick? Why was anyone? Why? It sucked. It's ass. I don't know.
And we never saw any of this.
Fire alarm goes off and people still watch the movie. They can't stop the truth.
They took me and my daughters to go watch The Sound of Freedom today, and about an hour and 20 minutes into the movie, we get a random emergency evacuation.
This is what happens when Red and I decide to go to the movies.
And not only evacuations in multiple theaters, but
Here's something I'm gonna admit. It's perfectly possible people are sabotaging this movie. But I don't think the Hollywood elite is doing it. It's just random, probably left-wing liberal people who want to do something and they pulled the alarm. I don't know. It's not a massive conspiracy.
Theaters with technical difficulties, like the lights staying on.
Can you our free passes to come back and see it again? But we're getting it hopefully looked at later in the week. Can I trust you? Sorry, guys.
I wonder how much this is from the same theater.
If people come out and complain, it's not our fault.
So everyone's gonna get a pass for a future movie.
Where multiple refunds in different theaters are being issued, as the air conditioning seems to be out everywhere.
In this movie only, the AC doesn't work. It's like super stiff.
Oh, really?
They're like, oh, well, we refunded all the tickets because there's no air conditioning in our theaters.
There was no AC running. It was unbearably hot. So I go
Yeah, it's called the hottest summer in existence.
out and I asked if they can turn the AC on, and they told me that it wasn't working.
And not everyone records video when something happens, as people take to social media to share similar.
And the reason, probably, the Sound of Freedom specifically, is played in all of these run-down theater rooms. Because they're probably, the main one has Oppenheimer and Barbie and Indiana Jones, you know, movies people want to see. This doesn't. So their reasoning probably is, if it's happening all over the country and it's not just located to a select few places that multiple people are reporting on, they probably thought very few people are watching this movie, so let's put that in the crappy theater, you know? Because very few people are watching it, as you've seen.
Experiences about how the air conditioning was also out at the theater they were in, or how the volume was turned all the way down. So much that apparently the CEO of AMC Theaters had to take to Twitter to say this was misinformation and the work of bots. Now, the official Angel Studios website did make a press release about the Sound of Freedom and AMC Theaters, as they also acknowledged how fast the rumors were spreading, claiming that this is not accurate and how AMC had been a great partner, and taking to Twitter to defend AMC and their CEO. So I think this is a rare situation where everything can be true simultaneously. AMC's trying not to go bankrupt, so of course they're going to give showings to a film as profitable as The Sound of Freedom is turning out to be.
But they didn't know that to begin with. And the reason it's profitable has jack shit to do with people watching it. We're going to see this multiple times. The pay it forward scheme. It's actually a scheme where they have angel investors who pay it forward so that their movies get sold tickets. It's the same way that conservatives inflate their book sales. They buy in bulk in the thousands and then they give it away. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is buying the books or watching the movies. But that's part of the conspiracy. You see here, this pay it forward scheme, where you can say, hey, I really want to pay for 10 tickets to this movie. 2 million for 2 million. We're going to get to that 2 million number as well. 10.2 million tickets sold through this scheme. And then you're wondering, why is it so popular? It's not. It is astroturfed to the max.
Angel Studios is happy their indie movie.
So that's why, because nobody's picking up these tickets. So that's why the theaters are empty. But people are claiming that the theaters are empty because the elites wants to control you. They don't want you to see it, so they're buying up the tickets, or they're claiming that it's all booked up, but it's not, or so they claim.
Is getting in theaters with as much reach as AMC, and someone is sabotaging showings of the film. But it might not be.
Oh, and by the way, decoy voice. You have 3,250,000 324K subscribers. What is this? What is this? Where is the focus? Is this so the same in other videos? What is this?
Change their fatherless antics, the more we don't
This looks better.
And whenever
But here, your black hair, your dark hair, is blending in with this dark background. I'm guessing it's a reflection of
I see clips
of a wall somewhere, perhaps. I don't know. But this darkness makes your hair just blend in, and you disappear if you want to. Because I mean, you have 324K subscribers. My video has been seen almost 600,000 times. Get a key light, my dude. Just a key light that gives your hair a halo. Now, I don't need it because to make myself stand out, because I don't have a dark background. Please, just invest in light, okay? This microphone, completely unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. It's overkill. This microphone, overkill. Complete overkill. Absolutely. You don't need an amazing microphone. But you do need a key light. Okay? You don't need I have a Sony A7 II camera. It's way overkill for what I'm doing here. Way overkill. You don't need that. A shitty webcam with some great lights, which are quite cheap today. Awesome. Perfect. The microphone, SM7B, unless you're singing, it's complete overkill. Does that mean I don't want one? Of course not. I want one. Give it to me. Make me buy it, please. But you don't need it, okay? Especially not if you're disappearing into the background and can't focus on your own face. I don't even know where focus is, to be honest. It's not over here in the background. It's not even on the microphone. The microphone is stationary. And the zooming we're doing right now is digital. You don't have a guy behind the background. I think the focal point is like somewhere outside of the image, you know?
Trying to protect their buddies and their peculiar trips to certain islands, but possibly just the hourly employees. As you look at far left Reddit's r/movie theater employees, where several threads openly despise the Sound of Freedom film, stating the audience is crazy, how entitled and rude they are, and how much employees hate the movie, as the employees berate the elderly viewers, and how they barely hide their contempt for them. And this movie brings in the worst type of people. And if any of the Redditors say the opposite, or go as far as to defend the movie, they get downvoted, as they actually openly admit the movie is being canceled, or they talk about how it's a business decision because Star Wars from 1977.
Wait, who said that? I don't get why people hate this movie, blah blah.
They get downvoted, as they actually openly admit.
Who's directing the employees to cancel it? Oh, it's me. That's canceling them. Purely a business decision. From account Max Payne. I just think that Mission Impossible, Indiana Jones, and Toy Story 3 showings will attract more crowds than Sound of Freedom, you know? Hell, I might even schedule a Star Wars Episode 4 and WALL-E tomorrow. What? This is a shit post.
Movie is being canceled, where they talk about how it's a business decision because Star Wars from 1977 or WALL-E from 2008 would perform better. Yes.
It's a shit post. I've already watched this video, by the way. I'm not being shocked with new information, or I mean, I completely missed this. He actually, I can't believe he said that. He did this. why would he? Why would he take a shitpost this seriously? It's beyond me. It's completely beyond me.
Making $40 million by the first weekend and $85 million by the second weekend, and being the only movie outside Christmas time to have a higher second weekend ticket sales than the first. That's the movie we need to pull to make space for a Space Wars.
Yes, because this movie is astroturfed. Nobody is actually buying the tickets. They're buying the tickets for other people. Well, I'm not. I shouldn't say nobody. Someone's gonna clip that and go, "Hey, look at him. I bought the ticket." Shoe0nHead's gonna do a video on it or something. I don't know. Some people are buying the tickets. Most people are not buying the goddamn tickets. It's astroturfed. You can't look at this movie as a success of the studio. Well, I guess you can actually look at it as a success of the studio. You can't look at it as a success of the movie.
Movie made a long time ago in a reality far, far non-existent. But we've seen this same thing several times over. Useful idiots are more than willing to throw themselves and their families
Okay, here it comes.
on food stamps just because they think they're doing the right thing. They somehow feel virtuous being programmed by the internet to do the bidding of their billionaire overlords, even if it means covering for trafficking. Just look at the
I'm doing the bidding of the billionaire overlords, am I? Oh, and by the way, cropped. He just copied Shoe0nHead's image. That's it. She just copied the image. There's no... Okay.
this interaction on Twitter that Shoe0nHead, a left-leaning YouTuber, had online, where someone claims the Sound of Freedom is propaganda for far-right conspiracies.
And I'm right.
Shoe then asks, what parts of the movie have those tinfoil hat theories? And they reply, no, they did not watch the movie. We talk about useful idiots a lot on this channel.
Did you catch that? He's quite slick. I have to give him that.
Covering for trafficking. Just look.
Okay.
They're doing the right thing. They somehow feel virtuous being programmed by the internet to do the bidding of their billionaire overlords, even if it means covering for trafficking.
He thinks I'm covering for child trafficking. Because I criticized this movie.
Just look at this interaction on Twitter that Shoe0nHead, a left-leaning YouTuber...
Left-leaning.
...had online, where someone claims the Sound of Freedom is propaganda for...
I claim that.
...or far-right conspiracies. Shoe then asks, what parts of the movie have those tinfoil hat theories?
He doesn't read this, and he says tinfoiled... Oh, wait.
Far-right conspiracies. Shoe then asks, what parts of the movie have those tinfoil hat theories?
Those tinfoil hat theories. Those are his words, not hers. Those are his words.
And they reply, no, they did not watch the movie. We talk about useful idiots a lot on this channel, but it's always...
Now I'm a useful idiot.
Interesting to see...
Because I criticize the QAnon adjacent movie.
One in the wild. They become such a subservient class of serfs that they don't even know why they have to cry...
Subservient class of serfs?
...about something. They just hear their marching orders and go. Whether it was against the map.
Now, every, and I mean every accusation from these people, from conservatives, from QAnon followers, but I repeat myself, from pedo conners, every accusation is an admission. Every single one of them. Listen to these words. Listen.
Something. They become such a subservient class of serfs that they don't even know why they have to cry about something.
Oh, sorry. Should probably.
They become such a subservient class of serfs that they don't even know why they have to cry about something. They just hear their marching orders and go.
They just hear their marching orders and go. I'm going to play a clip from an interview with where is it? With Jim Caviezel. And this interview is quite interesting, actually.
Hey guys, we're having dinner right.
I'm just gonna need to find it. I think he said something. They start off with talking about some faith, and he gives him like a rosary, which Jim Caviezel, if you're wondering why Jim Caviezel is holding a rosary, it's because he got it and he's just clamoring like crazy for it. Because I saw a clip from this and I'm like, why is he holding a rosary? What's the deal with that? Is that a signal? But no, it's just a gift. It's just a gift. He was in the Thin Red Line. And playing Jesus in the Passion of Christ.
It's what you do. Faith without your works is dead. 1 James. So many people say, but they don't do. And I was doing. And I felt good at what had done and was doing. Now, fifth take, it was bizarre.
What was following the orders? Wasn't this one? This is NIH. Here we go. I think it's this. God, I hope it's this. Oh, right.
Or they're using it to, from what I was.
So first of all, let's just listen to how he speaks, and then I'm gonna play it on 2 times the speed, because I get nothing from this guy. Absolutely dead to me.
You cry. You're gonna laugh. You're gonna do all this stuff, but there's a huge adventure. You'll be on the edge of your seat. But eventually,
Can you imagine listening to this? Living with this?
Wait a minute. This Miss Rodas on April 26 gave sworn testimony, that 85,000 children disappeared.
Okay, I'm just gonna
Cross the border. Just disappeared. Where did they go? And then
he mentions the border here. Why did I go into red that much? He mentions the border here because Tim Ballard have used the border wall as a way to fundraise for the Underground Railroad, Operation Underground Railroad. He's used that as a fundraising tool because he thought, or he thinks, that a border is going to stop children being trafficked into America. That's how stupid he is. Now, this is the guy who says that the triple letter agencies, FBI, CIA, DHS, all of those are part of the conspiracy. And he wants them to check the border for children Right. But that's why he's mentioning the border here.
Start wondering, wait a minute. You know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Public is now going, hey, three-letter agencies. What do you really know about what's going on here?
See?
And I think most Americans are waking up to the fact they know what the hell's going on.
How long did you immerse yourself in that environment to understand how profound this problem is?
1 day.
It only took 1 day.
No, on that part, 1 day. Not even that. Just I couldn't take it. But I had to understand what he was going through. I didn't know it was going to go there. It was more like, are you sure you want to go further than this? And I saw this movie a long time ago called Silent Scream. They were saying the baby in the womb screams when they tear it apart. They pull it out.
So he watched some Christian propaganda on abortions. That's what he's talking about.
That was hard to watch. And from that point on, I was always pro-life after seeing that. But the difference is, on the outside, you get to hear them scream. And now the only way to combat that is to get them.
And he's connecting it to child trafficking because he was taught by Tim Ballard. That's his word. That's his story. That's his explanation for all this. He was taught by Tim Ballard about all of this. This came directly from Tim Ballard.
So my weapon is acting. My weapon is film. And I can use that and be the voice in that film through Tim and from God coming in. And it's a most important film since the Passion of the Christ. These are films that will never be forgotten. Remember when Tim came down and asked me how it was going? And I said, we have lightning in a bottle. Well, you think it's going to come out? No, it's taken us several years to get this thing out. And the devil didn't want this one out. But
they don't want this one out. I can understand him so much better when he's on 2 times speed.
It's taken us several years to get this thing out. And the devil didn't want this one out.
The devil didn't want this one out. Okay, not they didn't want it. Still, that's quite a standard anti-Semitic trope, calling them the devil, right?
But too late now.
What kind of deterrence did you encounter during this film?
Because they talked about deterrence during Passion of the Christ, where he apparently got struck by lightning. And if you get struck by lightning while playing Jesus, and you're fundamentally Christian, I take that as a sign.
It was like I had a friend of mine that survived Immaculate Illegeza. She survived Rwanda. She said for 12 weeks she was living in a bathroom, and they killed over 1 million people in a short period of time. I wouldn't say it's that, but before Rwanda occurred, she said it was like an evil.
So I'm sorry. This is about just taking the orders. I'm gonna get to that. But I want you to get the experience of this clip, like who he is and how he talks and why he's a complete crazy person, a nutter.
Like Christmas in reverse for those 12 weeks in Rwanda when that was going on. And so prior to that, before the Day of Reckoning, it was when you would go down the street and you would hear them saying, they come up to you. So if you're in Mexico, they would say, do you want niños? You want mujeres, women, and cigars, whatever, trying to find. But when you go down to Colombia, they would be like, you want mujeres, women, and then they would say, you want niñas, little boys, little girls. So you got to see like that. And then when they were doing the film, they were running operations down there while we were there. Tim also, there's a gal, the villain in the film. She's a real character. She was out of prison at that time. And so you got pressure from the people to arrest, and then the ones on the inside. And I'm sure from the world that's involved in this. Because I think it goes all the way to Planned Parenthood. The jugs of plastic containers they use the children. I think those go to the biolabs. And I should say that I know they do that. They send them to places like that all over the world. These biolabs. I think this is part of the whole business.
What do they do with them in the biolabs?
I think, well, either making the adrenochrome, or they're using it to, from what I was told, is that, and also for making agents to kill people with it. So if I'm a half Irish, half Swiss, they can get my DNA code and create a cocktail, put it off in an airplane, and I'm the only one that dies of a heart attack in a plane. And then you watch a James Bond movie, you go, well, that's really weird. So
wow.
Again, this is way ahead of the public narrative.
This is way ahead of the public narrative.
But I talked to some. This is not something where it's suggested to me that this is probably why this world cabal is involved in all of this stuff, and it has a lot to do.
The world cabal? Anyone? Anyone feeling a bit uncomfortable, perhaps, by the suggestions of this video? Anyone feeling weirded out, perhaps?
Do with blood of our children. The public is now awakening to the trafficking, but eventually...
Which is also an old Jewish bloodletting conspiracy. Blood libel. It's an old anti-Semitic trope. Blood libel. And that's what he's talking about, but in an updated form. This is modern day blood libel. That's all it is.
Leads you to other places like Epstein Island. And in this film, we showed it to about 1,500 people in Las Vegas. And during a certain part of the film, they were all talking in the audience. There was like 5 showings every single time, talking. So at the end of it all, I thanked them all for coming, and then I said, why, during this part, you were talking? And they all yelled out Epstein Island. And I said, now I understand why they don't want this to be seen.
That's heavy.
So apparently they invade an island with kids on it, and I'm like, yeah, that seems like an Epstein Island reference, sure. And that's gonna make people not want the cabal to not want you to watch it.
It's listed in the NIH. Adrenochrome.
No, adrenochrome is something actually real. They're just overstating it, by the way.
Organ harvesting is another whole... That's when the whole thing went off with me with Tim Ballard, when he started talking to me about that. But again, I'm here to... We don't go into that in the film. The film is phenomenal.
Wait, they don't go into that in the film? But he's talking about it during the press tour. This came out 3 weeks ago. He was making interviews for the video. Or for the movie, I mean. And he's talking about QAnon conspiracies. And then says, but we don't go into that in the movie. They do everything but. Trust me.
I probably just chased away millions of people from wanting to watch this movie.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. The film... the film is like It's a Wonderful Life. It's what? This is about what? And how? Yeah, I know. What does this have to do with the tea in China? It is... If you weren't around Tim Ballard, none of these children are going to live. And as hard as it has been for him, he was willing to take it in the heart for Jesus. And King David, when David was a boy, same thing. And I was the same thing. And God doesn't make junk. But he can use things that you've been through in your past. And he can take you to a level that...
I'm just going to, I'm going to rewind. And I'm just going to wallow in his weirdness.
And as hard as it has been for him, he was willing to take it in the heart for Jesus. And King David, when David was a boy, same thing. And I was the same thing. And God doesn't make junk.
He just likened himself to King David.
But he can use things that you've been through in your past.
Listen to that voice. It's so weird.
And
why doesn't he
can
project
take
more?
you to a level that...
talk like this? He can take you.
It's supernatural.
It's
There's no way to explain it.
There's no way to explain
I was the best I ever was on that movie.
Best I ever was.
Because I was unafraid. And that love is the greatest. In its form, highest form, is the best you'll ever be if you get to that
We're gonna get
place
to
that you
the
give your life
to the point.
And I give my life for these kids. And that's what he did.
We're not chasing anybody away with this audience. We spoke about... I just did an episode with this guy, Ryan Montgomery, who's an ethical hacker, and he's unveiled...
Ryan Montgomery. Is that the dude just... ethical hacker who hunts children? And of course, it's this one. Is that the only one? Because I know there's been several interviews with one hacker. That's Ryan Montgomery again. Okay, he might be legit. I don't know anything about him, so I can't tell.
Veiling. He weighs about 85 pounds, and he's going after these guys by himself now. He's moving into other organizations, and it was the fastest growing episode that I've ever had. And that's saying a lot because we've had some really big ones. And this kid came out of nowhere. He's got how do I say this? He doesn't have a lot of clout around him. Nobody's ever heard of him, and it just went sparked the interest of everybody. And with this film, do you think this film is going to bring truth, but also educate kids, parents on how this is happening, where it starts, and
is this movie gonna educate you on what you can do? Will it make you take action? Let's find out, shall we?
Fear into people, into pedophiles and predators that are targeting these children?
I don't know. I was reading this thing, and I would absolutely say it's 100% the truth. They will never be able to walk down the street again. That's coming.
He's talking about the storm. The storm. Can I not get a... The cabal and the storm. QAnon's core beliefs are that the world is controlled by a secret cabal of Satan-worshipping child molesters. Where have you heard that before? Trump is secretly battling to stop them. And Q reveals details. Why will Trump secretly battle to stop them? Trump was on the Lolita Express. QAnoners love Trump. But Trump is all the things they hate. Why do they listen to him? The cabal is thought to have covered up its existence by controlling politicians, mainstream media, and Hollywood. Q's revelations imply that the cabal's destruction is imminent, but also that it will be accomplished only with the support of the patriots of the QAnon community. He's talking about the storm.
Without a doubt, and it will be a great day. This needs to be.
Oh, and one more thing. Just hammering the nail on this one. I need didn't I save that? Oh, right. Here. This guy is Jim Caviezel's, 107 is Jim Caviezel's best friend. I mean, best friend in the whole wild world. Did I say wild world? I mean wide world. What? I know I've seen it there. I'm sure I've seen it there. Anyway, Jim Caviezel promoted him during a QAnon conspiracy conference where he was promoting, you'll never guess it, Sound of Freedom. Just wild coincidences all around. Just wild coincidences that why would he do that? What would he get from that? It's so strange how the one guy who's fighting against it and doesn't, oh no, let's not scare people away by telling them the details, kind of like, I don't know, Scientology, but it's gonna include it. Jim Caviezel, QAnon conference.
Will you fight?
No, let's go to X, apparently.
This man says no, we'll run and we'll live. Yep, fight and you may die. Run and you'll live. For at least a while. And dying in your beds many years from now, would you have been willing to trade all the years from this day to that for one chance? Just one chance to come back here and tell our enemies that you can take our lives, that you can never take our freedom. Every man dies. Not every man truly lives. You, we.
Only the chosen few who see the light, take the red pill, remove your thetans. Only you can save the world.
Must fight for that authentic freedom and live, my friends. By God, we must live. And with the Holy Spirit as your shield and Christ as your sword, may you join Saint Michael and all the angels in defending God and sending Lucifer and his henchmen straight right back to hell where they belong.
He was promoting Sound of Freedom here. Oh, there he is. Savin. That's Savin. Or Savin, I don't know.
We are headed into the storm of all storms. Yes.
The storm.
The storm is upon us. But not without Jesus, our rudder. And in the words of Reagan, evil is powerless if the good are unafraid. God bless you.
And then he shakes the hand of Savin, or Seven, or whatever his name is.
Be done. This is the worst time in the history of all humanity. Right now we're living in. You know, when you read biblical times, we're 8.5 billion people on this earth. Biblical times.
Oh, we're in the end times even. Oh, that's a fun one. All the Christians believe they've always been. That's why if you go back to just after Jesus died or was resurrected and came back and blah, 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 blah. After that time, they didn't even try to procreate because they thought, it's the end times, baby. He's going to come back any day. He's come back once, he's going to come back again. So they never got children. and they're like, oh my God, look at, I'm 25 all of a sudden. Oh my God, I need to have children before I die.
Not that many people, but when you read Moses, they killed the babies. During the time of Jesus, Herod, they killed the babies. They tried to annihilate him. It's the same thing, same devil. And this is going to end. I know it, but whether I live.
Which there is no proof of ever happening, right? No, I don't need to Google it. I know it's not true. I know there's no scientific or historical evidence apart from the Bible that talks about this, because every religion needs to be persecuted in order to function.
That I would give my life to make this end. And that's where I'm completely connected to Tim in this role. And King David, or David, is the 16-year-old. And that, you know, God could come to us and, you know, being from small towns and just say, you know, all you got to do is cry out to God and ask him, what's my purpose in this life? And certainly it can't be one of being afraid. And to trust Jesus that he's got you, man. You know, I know that a lot of people out there right now have recently had to, my dear friends have committed suicide. And a lot of people want to know, you know, if God loves them or not. I heard this a long time ago, and it goes, your name may not appear down here in this World's Hall of Fame. In fact, you may be so unknown that no one knows your name. The Oscars and the praise of men may never come your way, but don't forget, God has rewards that he'll hand out someday. This crowd on earth, they will soon forget when you're not at the top. They'll cheer like men until you fall, and then their praise will stop. Not God, he never does forget. And in his Hall of Fame, by just believing on his Son, forever there's your name. I tell you, friend, I wouldn't trade my name, however small. It's written there beyond the stars in that celestial hall. For all the famous names on earth, the glory that they share.
And we're going to
unknown
get
here.
to that.
I have my name up there.
How peasants get to talk to this guy.
When is this coming out?
4th of July.
We'll link everything below. It's a heavy topic.
You know, the things we talked about can all be verified. So all you fact checkers out there, you know these fact checkers, you can go to college for that, get a master's degree in fact checking. You know, don't, public, stop falling for this fact checking stuff. They need me, my fact checkers. One of them.
Did you get that? Let's do that in real time. Let's remove the double speed.
About can all be verified.
Wait.
The things we talked about can all be verified.
Can it? Can it now?
So all you fact checkers out there, you know, these fact checkers.
You see that? Did you see that wink, by the way?
You know, these fact checkers. You go to college for that. Get a master's degree in fact check.
He's mocking education because he's stupid, and because QAnon, as any other conspiracy, demands that you deny reality.
Checking. You know, don't public stop falling for this fact-checking stuff. They need
The public must stop falling for this fact-checking stuff.
to meet my fact-checkers. One of them, you know, and we mentioned him earlier. He'll verify all the stuff that I've told you.
You mean Tim Ballard? Or maybe Mel Gibson?
So those guys, they should be terrified of those guys.
Fact-checking's turned into suppression.
Fact-checking's turned into suppression. Really? Really?
Yes, it is.
He disagrees.
Bingo.
Fact-checking's turned into suppression when you can't fact-check. Okay. These people, the QAnoners, and Jim Caviezel has said this himself in at least one interview, that you're not allowed to ask questions anymore. And that's why Democrats hate the letter Q or whatever. And another letter they hate is the letter K because of KKK. But they never go after a KKK. They only go after the Q. Yeah. I mean, so can we not... Do we need your guys who will be biased in your favor to fact check you? Really? That's what we need to do in order to, you know, I don't know, debunk one of your claims. Oh, no. I have to tell you it's bunk before I can even imagine it being anything else. I won't admit it until you've proven it false to me. But only if I admit it will you be able to prove it false to me. Whatever, go fuck yourself.
Do you think you'll continue this fight with the children after this film's released?
I'll never stop because of my own children, my own adopted children. I was very well at the dangers and the pains I've gone through on a global scale, just through the adoption.
I know he's getting the bad guys. So I just missed it. It was in the beginning, apparently. I'm sorry.
To see that you should never hurt one of these little ones. So the film is fantastic that way. It's powerful. There's a sound that you hear from these little ones that is so horrific that you'll never forget it. And for 2 years, I could never forget it. I had a friend of mine that came to my house, and in the morning she's weeping. She came over, and Debbie, she was hugging me. Why? I said, "What's wrong? You were bawling." I don't really. What was I doing? So I've been sleeping, and I go to this dark place, and my body had to process this out in my dreams, and a lot of them I don't remember. But I had to pray deeply, but it motivated me to want to get these sons of bitches. And this is why I say it's the only unforgivable sin. They don't deserve to live any longer what they've done. Jesus says, "Better a millstone be hung around their necks, that they be cast into the sea, that you should ever hurt one of these little ones." So the film is fantastic that way. It's powerful. It's no studio can make this film. This is the movie they don't want you to see, and especially the devil doesn't want you to see this. But when you are done, people don't get up from the theater. They sit like they did in The Passion, like they did in Schindler's List.
Here we go.
You cry. You're going to laugh. You're going to do all this stuff. But there's a huge adventure. Be on the edge of your seat. But eventually, when enough people walk out of this, they're going to start looking at, wait a minute. This Miss Rodas on April 26th gave testimony, sworn testimony, that 85,000 children disappeared across the border. Just disappeared. Where did they go? And then you start wondering, wait a minute. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Public is now going, hey, 3-letter agencies. What do you...
So, here's the point. I'm sorry about that extended segment. I missed it was before, not after. I'm sorry about that one. But I still think we learned quite a lot about him and what this movie is, as we listen to Decoy Voice one more time.
On this channel, but it's always interesting to see one in the wild. They become such a subservient class of serfs that they don't even know why they have to cry about something. They just hear their marching orders and go. Whether it was against the masks, but then for the masks, against...
Since he's only talking about me here, like he hasn't shown anyone else, neither, by the way, did Shoe. They're talking about me in the plural. people are. They are.
And go, whether it was against the masks, but then
I live in Sweden, dude. I live in the fucking land of the free. Home of the fucking brave, apparently. We didn't do lockdowns. We didn't demand masks. We stopped pubs and bars from being open all night. But then they found a workaround from that law. We did almost nothing. And you're I worked at a school when COVID hit us. We didn't shut down until much later. So I don't know who you're talking about here, but it ain't me, buddy.
For the masks, against Orange Man shots, but then for the shots after.
No, the shots were awesome. Idiots on the left, but mostly liberals, get real. Idiots who criticize Trump's vaccine fast tracking. Absolute morons. Yes, in the back of your head, have some skepticism. He is Trump after all. But he's not alone. He's not a scientist. He's not going to... I cannot forgive people who were skeptical from the get-go of Trump's vaccine hyperspeed, I think. I do not agree with that at all. I've always been... The one thing I've been critical of is Bill Gates when he went to... Was it Princeton? Maybe? Yale, perhaps? Some prestigious education center where they had a vaccine and he made them patent it. Imagine if penicillin was patented. It is absurd. The world should have said, fuck you, we're taking over your company in the meantime during this pandemic, and we're focusing everything on this, and then we're letting it go. And then you can have the company back. That's the minimum they should have done. The minimum. It is absolutely disgraceful that we kept this behind a closed door, that we didn't allow, China, Russia even, North Korea, whoever wanted to and have the facilities necessary to be able to produce this vaccine so that more people could have it faster. It is a disgrace, and it is a honestly, human rights violation. Through and through. Human rights violation.
For the election, or against the police, against Orange Man shots, but then for the shots after the election.
I don't know many people who refused the shots until after the election.
Or against the police during the riots, but then for the police during the Orange Man riots.
Oh, I can explain this one. It's quite simple, decoy voice. You see, when police attack you for a righteous cause that you haven't... When you haven't been, I don't know, aggressive at all. When police attack left-wing movements, left-wing protests, it is 9 out of 10 times before the movement, the protest have done anything ever. And they just grab random people and just throw them in jail. It is ongoing. You can see that with the difference from a BLM protest where the guards This is racism in action. Here is the National Guard troops on the Lincoln Memorial during BLM protests. Nothing happened that day. There was no warning of anything happening that day. There was no arrests being made, at least nothing that has been leaked to the press or anything, they just decided to show up with 1,000-strong army. And during January 6th, where there were reports that something would happen, they did jack shit. And that's how racism is spread in America. But also, why the when right-wingers charge at, because police have a role. Police have a role that I, as a democratic socialist, as I understand it, to quote George Orwell, as one of those, I still think we need some form of police department, some form of guards. We need some form of protection, some institution that investigates crimes, because crime's still going to happen, even if we're in a post-capitalist society. We're still going to have crimes. We're still going to have people who want more than they are entitled to or they are worthy of. So we need some form of institution for that. The cops, naturally, because they report crime. They come to you when there's a crime happening, and it makes sense. And they also need to sometimes break up fights, perhaps. There are legitimate ways of legitimate reasons for having a police force. But the American police force is not that. It is so far beyond saving that it needs a purge. The police is an extension of KKK. It is an extension of QAnon now. There's a lot there that these people will never talk about. These people will never say that. QAnon patch on police uniform. I know I've seen this. Oh, there we go. Hello, Pence. Hello there. I support the people who want to kill you. That's who I am. How fun. QAnon is attracting cops. Yeah. It is an authoritarian. Oh, hey. It is an authoritarian and a conspiracy, and that's going to attract authoritarians, of course. So there. We don't like the current. And I know some morons on the left think, oh, no, in a perfect world, we don't need that. Yeah, in a perfect world, there's never going to be a perfect world. So, yeah, we need police still, but we don't need this police. We don't need the American police, for sure. But I don't know if we need any of the... let me just go on a tangent here. The way I envision a police force in a post-capitalist world, blah, 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 blah. In my ideal society that I think is feasible, not tomorrow, not even during my lifetime, probably. But it's one where the police listen to... I could imagine a community union. I can imagine a community union. That's going to be politicians, but it's going to be a back and forth, It's going to be the community union's role in this world is going to be one of representing the people directly against police. And the community union is the one who decides if the police gets suspended, if he gets fired, if he gets hired, if he goes to jail or stands trial, I should say. That's what, like, I can see politicians think, but it can be the politicians doing this, but I can also see it separated from that entirely.
And they've been programmed so well throughout all of this when they're called to cover for
QAnon, speaking of programming, QAnon have been programmed from the start, like the day one of QAnon. They've been programmed to look for signs in the clouds on what to do, you know? They've been programmed by the original drops to look for the timestamps and the date and the IP number, and it's all everything that's not connected to the specifics in order to find the truth. Because according to them, Q asks questions and Anons answer them. QAnon. It's a back and forth. It's a conversation they're having amongst each other to try and find where their conspiracy best thrives, I guess. Because the one who gets the best idea for how to interpret a QAnon drop or Q drop, or how to or what's happening in the media and yada yada yada, all of that, they've been primed. Am I lagging on the stream as well? Why am I lagging? Okay, I'm not lagging there. Am I? No, I'm not lagging now. That's strange. My screen froze, it seemed. I'm going to do like this so I can see what's happening. Anyway, so they've been primed from day one to look for the signs. But we're the programmed ones.
trafficking. They don't even them so well throughout all of this when they're called to cover for trafficking. They don't even blink. They just do it.
But that's the critique of this movie, that it hides actual child trafficking, that it obfuscates reality, that it paints a picture of how to deal, because Tim Ballard has gotten he's been how should I say it? He's been getting credit as an abolitionist. The people think he is serious, that he is a good person who fights child trafficking. So what are they gonna do? They're gonna donate to him and believe, or Operation Underground Railroad, or they're going to donate there instead of actual organizations. That's the critique we have.
As they brown nose so hard, it's actually spread to their shirts.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot buy our security the devil any longer.
There's no argument over the choice between peace and war. But there's only one guaranteed way you can have peace, and you can have it in the next second. Surrender. Admittedly, there's a risk in any course we follow other than this. But every lesson in history tells us that the greater risk lies in appeasement. And this is the specter our well-meaning Christian liberal friends refuse to face. Our priests, our pastors, and now, sadly, even our Pope. That his policy of accommodation is appeasement. And it gives us no choice between peace and war. Only between fight and surrender. If we continue to accommodate, continue to back and retreat, eventually we will have to face the final demand, the final ultimatum, and what then? When Satan has told his own, he knows what our answer is going to be. He has told them that we're retreating under the pressure of his Cold War, and someday when the time is right, to deliver his final ultimatum, our surrender...
Maybe a final solution, perhaps?
will be voluntary, because you see, by then we will have been so weakened from within. Spiritually, morally, economically. He believes this because from our side he's heard voices pleading for peace at any price. Or better red than dead, or as one commentator put it, he'd rather live on his knees with his mask on than die on his feet. And therein lies the road to war. Because those voices don't speak for the rest of us. You and I know it and do not believe that life is so dear and peace so sweet as to be purchased the price of chains and slavery. If nothing in life is worth dying for, well, when did this begin? Just in the face of this enemy, or should Moses have told the children of Israel to live in slavery under the pharaohs? Should Christ have refused the cross?
I think you get the point. But we're the brown noses, right? We're the ones calling for the murder of people, the enslavement of people, the uprising against Satanists. We're the brown noses. We're the brown shirts.
So I don't think that AMC gave their marching orders to destroy one of the rare opportunities they have to make money. No, I just believe a class of useful idiots think that they're fighting the orange man by turning off air conditioning, turning on lights, and turning down volumes.
At least the volume, I know Spider-Verse had the same issue. And people complained and they fixed it.
And of course their slacktivism has done almost nothing for their cause, and actually literally everything thrown against this movie has backfired. The bad press got me to go see the movie and then tell my audience to go see it. The movie theater malfunctions are going viral online and bringing more awareness to the film. And their Pay It Forward program has actually sold nearly 8 million tickets, where people are still pouring in to buy more tickets.
AstroTurf.
For people that can't afford them. And when Tim Ballard went on Timcast IRL, when Tim stated he would match the super chat donations, they apparently raised $24,000 in minutes, where Tim Pool wrote him a check for $50K. Because of this.
But I mean, AstroTurf. AstroTurf.
Point, the best endorsement you can get for a product is outrage from the left. And if you think about it, what would be a better scenario?
And this is the point of this movie.
For this channel, if Timcast came out and said, watch Decoy Voice, he's great, or would it actually be a better thing if CNN came out and said, don't listen to Decoy, he's actually Kung Fu-anon? So, if you appreciate my concise, light order comment,
so
he's great, or would it actually be a better thing if CNN came out and said, don't listen to Decoy, he's actually Kung Fu?
I know that's an AI image. But that is a cue as well. And you're just saying Kung Fu Anonymous. But you're clearly dog whistling. This is what a dog whistle looks like, people.
Fu-anon. So, if you appreciate my concise, light order commentary on what's really going on in the world, hopefully I've earned your subscription, then go check out the video on the invasion in Spain.
Mm-hmm. Decoy voice. Mm-hmm. Videos. And this is just Tucker ending career. Tucker is ending careers. Biden calls up reserves for Europe. I don't know, maybe. I mean, it's just right-wing conspiracy propaganda, you know? Tim Pool exposes their creepy agenda. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Sure. Sure. So I actually, before we continue, because it is necessary to understand the pathology of this man. And speaking of that, I need actually something else first. I need to show you how this person talks. So someone here, is this from, I need my sock account. I need my sock. So here, new video. Great video, laughed a crap ton. Your critique of the credit speech helped me make sense of how I felt about it. Operation Underground Railroad is where people can help. I don't know why they didn't add anything about it. Oh, maybe I should save this. But this dude just responded. So he goes, same as someone who has yet to see it. It was nice seeing something that could actually be seen as valid criticism. Here's my complete breakdown because she mentions me in the video. I'll also go blah, 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 blah. Dude, you got blocked because you're exhausting. All you managed to do is come off exactly like how Q people come off. You think this is why I got blocked? Nope. They're too stupid to understand. They do not know what is actually happening. But that wasn't what I was gonna show you guys, actually. Wait, yeah, there it is. This is from an interview with Jordan Peterson. It's from the intro. But I've watched the video part of this and it's pretty much the same. Here is the actual video, and I want you to look here. But you can confirm I have not altered anything else except center him so you can stare right into his eyes.
This is the best.
And I need to lower my volume.
Best interview I've ever had in my life. I love your line of questioning and getting to what is real. I hooked into Tim, has a childlike quality to him, and I stay with that innocence. And don't take that innocence as weakness. When I read the scripture, I feel truth, good, evil, and I find the good, and let that just pierce the darkness. This is
a psychopath. This is a man without a soul. His eyes are completely dead. And this reptilian stare that he's exhibiting here is common among psychopaths. Now, just because you have this dead, empty stare doesn't mean you're a psychopath necessarily. There's no reason for the. I mean, you can have PTSD and just go, I mean, yeah. But he's never been in combat. He's been in movies. This is a psychopath. Through and through. You don't get emotions from him, and that's why he's speaking the way he does.
And I stay with that innocence, and don't take that innocence as weakness. When I read the scripture, I feel truth, good, evil.
I feel truth. Sorry. Is this dead enough? When I read the scripture, I feel truth, good and evil. Who says, who looks dead in the eye and dead in the camera and goes, this is the best interview I've ever had? Psychopaths. Absolute psychopaths. Let's look at a non-psychopath get impressed by a question.
What's
I'm just gonna play this one. Josh Brolin.
special to you about the Jiva Theater Center in Rochester? It seems like that town.
Literally the greatest questions I've ever been asked. Seriously, like I'm blown away by it.
Did you hear the intonation in his voice? Did you maybe catch something human in his voice? I recently watched a documentary, Hidden Bones, I think it's called, on Netflix. Hidden Bones? Unknown Cave of Bones. And it's about prehistoric humans from 300,000 years ago. And they talk about them, and it actually made me tear up. Because sometimes they talk about them as non-human. They're not humans, but we would recognize something. Yeah, they're prehistoric humans. That's why we call prehistoric humans. They're our ancestors. But is that, apart from that weird thing of not calling them human in my eyes or in my mind, we would absolutely recognize a soul behind, like emotions behind the eyes. We would absolutely recognize them as being thinking creatures. I can look into an orangutan's eyes. Here.
When they were by this...
No, I don't want the... Shut up. See? That orangutan with those small, small eyes, I get more emotions from that small interaction than from anything I've seen of him. Anything. It's creepy. It's creepy. It's real creepy. And then he talks about the cabal, the elites in Hollywood. You're one of them. Why are you outing yourself like this? It's really, really strange. But that's kind of like, so now we know he's a psychopath. Okay, we have that in our bag, and we can just pull it out when we need it. Okay.
It's because when a lot of these pedophiles, and when they do these sins, God is telling them, "Do you understand? This is it," and they do it anyway. And so, let the dead bury their dead at that point. I can't wait to dive into this subject. It's something that I made a promise to my audience that I would dive deep into this subject this year and continue moving on. Back to the passion.
Okay. Fuck. There's so much. There's so much. I've spent the entire weekend and the entire day researching this. It has been a lot. Polaris, Freedom, Happiness Now, countering QAnon. We're just gonna. I've read this entire thing except for the timeline and I've read the report, not the in-depth methodology or the entire timeline, but I've gathered enough of the information in this report, and here are the key findings. We're just going to read this. Disinformation about human trafficking serves as a gateway narrative that radicalizes susceptible audiences to condone and even perform acts of violence and terrorism. This ultimately possesses a threat to the national security of the United States. It's not just the United States. This is going to be used everywhere. I'm seeing it here in Sweden as well. We need to protect the kids. I've heard family talk like that. It scares me, knowing the information I know. The fallout, give me a moment. The fallout from disinformation about human trafficking has a profound harmful impact on victims and survivors of human trafficking. The amount of time Polaris spent responding to false reports about the Wayfair conspiracy theory could have been used to respond to an additional 42 trafficking cases. Tim Ballard have spread Wayfair disinfo. He has not denounced it. In fact, in the Jordan Peterson interview where the Ballard psycho stare came from, it's not there. It's going to be... Come on.
This is the best interview I've ever...
Yeah, there it is. Jordan Peterson actually decides to include this. Let's listen. If I was in his shoes, I'd also ask about this. It seems important. But I wouldn't ask just Tim Ballard, of course. I would also ask Jim Caviezel.
Harass you a bit here from the Wikipedia page. There is some, not that I'm particular fan of Wikipedia pages, depending on the circumstances, but
depending on the circumstances, if they agree with me, he likes it. If they don't, he doesn't. Wikipedia is an amazing source for entry-level understanding of any topic, really. Like entry-level, use Wikipedia. Every day.
There are some criticisms of what you're doing, and I thought we might as well address them right off the bat, because people who are watching are going to be, look, man, if I was coming across this for the first time, and in some ways I am, I've got two choices in front of me, don't I? I can either presume that you've discovered something that's ongoing and of tremendous significance that's terribly dark, or I can assume that the difficult work that you had done for a decade, genuinely addressing these problems, has made you hypersensitive to a threat and willing to magnify it, and
no, he's just a grifter. He likes the money.
It would be easier just to ignore you as a consequence. Now, that would be the preferable outcome to such an investigation, wouldn't it? So you can, as you said, you can understand why people might want to avert their eyes from such a thing. So I'm going to walk through these criticisms, and maybe you could, you can respond to them, and we can get that out of the way before we go deeper into the film and your operations. So your group, and this is Operation Underground Railroad, and tell me if I get anything wrong here, says it devours conspiracy theories, though founder Tom Ballard was criticized for refusing to condemn the QAnon conspiracy theory I have no idea what the hell that means. Do you know what that's referring to?
It's quite simple. QAnon is celebrating this movie and our in general. Tim Pool is a great resource for QAnon conspiracy theorists. What do you mean? What does that mean? If you have support of an extremist group, if ISIS supported me, I'd come out and condemn them every single fucking day. But I don't. So I don't have to. Tim Ballard has. So he should.
To?
Yeah, absolutely. We that's a lie in Wikipedia. We have absolutely.
That's a lie. Mm-hmm.
In our FAQs for years have condemned the majority of what we see with conspiracy theories. So they like to attribute me to the QAnon movement. There may be some truths in there, but there's so many falsehoods on top of that. So our FAQs refute that immediately.
No. First of all, I've looked into this FAQ while I was waiting for stream to start. This is the page in the Wayback Machine. If we go to, I believe it's April 18th and then May 8th, 2022. If it want to load, there we go. This is from April 15th, 2022. Here they condemn QAnon. Oh, that's great. Awesome. Perfect. No notes. Then we go just a month later. What's this? To be clear, our does not condone conspiracy theories and is not affiliated with any conspiracy groups in any way, shape, or form. Accurate information about child exploitation and human trafficking is imperative to effectively confront these issues. Completely agree. We encourage anyone who wants to join the fight stay informed and use care when engaging around these issues to not hurt the cause. This, to be clear, Operation Our does not condone conspiracy theories and is not like QAnon in any shape. Like this is a good way. Like we don't condone QAnon. We actively don't like QAnon. Good. Why did you remove it? Oh, strange. When did that come? That's the one thing I didn't have time to hone down exactly, but I believe it might be somewhere here. Oh, there it is. Still there, or it was there from then. What about the 5th? March 5th. Was it there then? 2021. Otherwise, it's 2020. God, it's low. QAnon. It's still there. No match for QAnon on February 4th, 2020. Do we even have conspiracy? No, we do not even have that. February 4th, 2020. So it's not going to be there. Certainly not going to be here. So somewhere during 2020, did this come about? Oh, there it is. November 30th. What if we go to September 24th then? Nope, still not. Still nothing. Is this the first instance? November 20th. November 30th, I mean. 2020. Is that the earliest? Yeah, that's the earliest. I mean, and Wayfair, QAnon, Ballard. July 16th, 2020, and Ballard, when was this? July 19th, 2023. Oh, because, yeah, that one. But I want the video. I want to know when he's not there. Tools, anytime, custom range, to 2021. Wayfair. Earlier this summer, QAnon followers pushed a conspiracy theory. Oh, here it is. Here it is. July 13th, 2020. And then they had to walk it back. Walk it back. But now they don't have it anymore. Like, what? They've removed it? Yeah, it's I mean, I showed you. Are you stupid? I've already showed you. They've removed it. They just have this. Just removed it. Strangely, they removed it before the movie came out.
Because it discredits the movement. In fact, I would go so far as
So that's why he's connected to QAnon.
to consider that maybe certain people who don't want this known are responsible for some of the conspiracy theories in order to discredit the movement.
And now the conspiracy theory is a conspiracy theory, and they're attacking me while I'm promoting it, and blah blah blah. You know,
and they go too far. They go too far in their assessment of things. But yeah, we actually have disavowed what's generally coming out of QAnon.
Yeah, well, it says, you know, it's very...
And Jim Caviezel, as we've seen before, used the movie to promote QAnon.
Vague on Wikipedia. It says to condemn the QAnon conspiracy theory. Well, I know perfectly well that there are more than one conspiracy theories, let's say, on QAnon, so I'm not even...
Yeah, but it's a conspiracy theory that swallows other, but there's still the QAnon is still like it's both.
Exactly sure what it's referring to. What is there a particular conspiracy theory that you were criticized for refusing to condemn? Do you have any more specific details about that?
I mean, I'm not sure what exactly they're talking about. Probably they might be referring to the fact that
this feels forced. This feels preconceived even.
There's something called adrenochrome where they're taking children's blood and devouring it and so forth. And I've explained my experience with that, and I just did in West Africa and other places. We've seen this in several parts of the continent of Africa, and it's very real. It's very real. This witch doctory. They take these children.
What conspiracy theory am I supposed to condemn here? This one?
They take their organs, they take their blood, they drink it, they take the genitalia of children and hang it over the rooftop of their businesses, thinking that the dark gods will bless them. These are real things. And so I might say something like that, and then they connect it to something that a QAnon person says about, you know, a celebrity who must be doing this too, but there's no evidence to back that. And they make a false connection there. And so that's the only example I can think of.
Okay, got it. Well, the next thing.
The dude is in the call. He's right there. It's him. He's the one doing it. He's the one saying the celebrities are doing this as well. He's the one. You just made a movie with him. But I don't know what conspiracy they would want me to denounce. It's so strange. It's completely baffling.
Yeah, you had a extremely successful Hollywood career. I just want to say also that, I mean, you are a fantastic role model, and there aren't, especially coming from Hollywood, I don't believe there are very many people in that circle that are good role models, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for you because of it. And just doing some research on you before you got here, you've turned down scenes that involve nudity, that involve sex, for your faith, for respect out of your wife. I've not heard of anybody else doing that. Also, specific scenes that have to do with violence, from what I understand, you also turn those down. And it's just really refreshing to see somebody that can stand by their values with that amount of pressure in front of them and not fold. And I want to commend you for that.
Every film has something in it, a power. And then you go, okay, what's necessary, what's not necessary? It does not mean that I will not play the devil in a movie. But the difference is I don't go to the devil to ask him how to play him. I go to God to teach me how to play this. Because when I do, it should unearth you. There was a film I did with Denzel Washington, Deja Vu, and that had a lot to do with it. And so I got to write my monologue and piece in there with Denzel. Tony Scott and Jerry Bruckheimer allowed me to do it. But I looked at a lot of the, along the way, I've always got to work with really good agents, ATF, FBI, CIA, and I write notes down. And then I bring that.
But the three-letter agencies are all in on it, but we can work with them. But they're all in on it. Don't trust them, but we can work with them. We need them to protect us, but they are the devil. They protect the devil.
Back into the script. And when I got to watch some of the interrogations that I got to see, you always hear another voice coming out of these guys, like the devil speaking right through them and talking about their destiny, their making their maker, their time. And I just would write a lot of that down, and I would pray deeply about it going into the scene, because when an individual watches the movie, watching film, time suspends itself. If I said you're going to sit in this room in that chair for 2 hours, but if the actors play it right, you're so entranced into the film that time just goes by like that. And so I'm still that 14, 15-year-old kid that watches a movie, and in my mindset say, what would keep me on the edge of my seat? What would keep me entranced into this character? In The Passion of the Christ, it's very brutal, especially when we went to the Cat of Nine Tails. Again, I'm working with the best people in the world that are revealing to me this is really what happened. So when we were looking at like the Shroud of Turin, you can see the Shroud of Turin is the Keith Van Der Linde saying people will go into shock now when they see this.
Hero.
Track lines on his body. You can see the bamboo sticks the Romans would have used on him. But then you all see the deep ones where it looks like the Grand Canyon in your skin. And they like, I remember Keith Van Der Linde saying people will go into shock now when they see this. This is Cat of Nine Tails. This is horrific. And he said, I'll take him to the edge. So it's very brutal. But in that particular
I'll take them to the edge.
case, that violence was important because that violence is our sin. So it's always about committing to what this film needs to be. If you use every profanity in the book constantly, eventually you get numb to it. But you use it once, it'll hit you if you need it, if it's necessary in the film. Like, for example, if you watched It's a Wonderful Life, that film was very profound in its time and very hard to watch. And during Christmas, the most beautiful time of year. And you don't want to drop an F-bomb in that movie, But if you watch it, it's very powerful because this guy wants to end his life. It's over. He doesn't see what his value in his life. And this angel comes to him and shows him, George, don't you understand? If you weren't around these people, they would never made it without you. We have to look at our lives like that. One of the most profound scenes in that movie was when Jimmy Stewart, Kepler had that camera on him. He says, God, if you're out there, please help me. And those were real tears. That man flew 26 missions in a Liberator over Germany, World War II. And you understand that when you're flying over in that tight formation, and one of those planes goes out, everybody has to remain quiet on their comms. Stewart lived with PTSD his entire life, and especially in that scene. And I'm sure that trauma played out there, but God used it in the most beautiful way, just as some of the trauma that I grew up with. God used it in the most profound way in films like Sound of Freedom or The Passion of the Christ.
When you got word about the project Passion of the Christ, it almost sounds like, well, how did you get word about that film?
Crazy. If you... So I get a call that I knew Mel Gibson was, but I did not know it was Steve McAvee. And that was his key producer, main Brett. And he just... Yeah. I said, oh my God. He said,
he's just talking about some religious experience when getting the role for playing Jesus Christ.
But the shame, including open heart. And then I was struck by lightning on the last shot. But because it's amazing. Now, I don't do faith-based films. I hate that.
Here we go.
As Christians said, that's it. And this is like, we need you to ask on it. Why? The Christian bigotry is the most accepted form of bigotry.
Relationship with Hollywood, or potentially destroy it. Why would they?
If this happened, I felt like I did something in this life. I served my purpose.
Why would playing Jesus Christ destroy your relationship with Hollywood, or potentially destroy it? Why would they shun you?
Well, they did it immediately when I took the film. I was on all the studio lists. They have to answer that question. The Christian bigotry is...
It's probably because he's a creeper.
The most accepted form of bigotry there is. And they need to be called to task on it.
Which is why 90% of all politicians in America is Christian?
Why? But here's the other thing. Why do we pay money to go to their shit? Why? Why support it anymore? If we, as Christians, said, that's it, and this is like, we need you on this film, Sound of Freedom, but because it's amazing. Now, I don't do faith-based films. I hate that. You know why? We never used it as a crutch on The Passion. And all of a sudden we were the faith-based film. We never called ourselves faith-based. We were, here's a phenomenal movie. We can beat anybody in the world. We have the truth, right? The truth sets you free. Go to the film, see if it does. But now it's like, we made a faith-based film for you. And so you owe us your money. No, you don't. You don't put that and don't manipulate them.
I don't disagree with him here. And I think it's good marketing for them. But that's also my critique. That they're doing the safe movie, the non-faith-based QAnon movie. But they're doing it without the faith-based part. They're not doing any of the conspiracies. They're just doing the straight and arrow down the line. And then people will draw their own conclusions from that.
And that's another thing. It's not Christianity. Is that crap? Like we're one of the club. I don't use that thing that I'm saved. I look at what Apostle Paul said. When you contemplate your salvation, do it in fear and trembling. That's how I look at it. And finish the race. My race isn't done. I've got a lot more to go. But I don't like that manipulation stuff. And Jesus is not a manipulator. And that is not Christianity at all. It needs to be authentic. Jesus is authentic. He's the most authentic thing that has ever existed.
Was that a tough decision for you at all? Or was it snap of the finger, I'm 100% in, no matter what happens?
The passion? Yes, because of what happened in the movie theater when I was young, yeah.
We talked a little bit about spiritual warfare before we started recording, and with my...
Spiritual warfare?
With my new faith, I think it's my mission to spread the word. And it's already connecting me to people that I never would have been connected with before, like yourself, a couple other people that are coming on the show soon. And everybody that's around me that is a believer, that's close to me, has come to me and told me, be careful. You need to watch out. Eli Crane told me there are no free shots on target when you're talking about spiritual warfare, and that evil will start to try to seep into my life the louder I get about this. Did you experience anything like that?
That right there, what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's garbage.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you, Michael the Archangel is a patron saint to the Navy SEALs. Do you know this prayer? Saint Michael the Archangel.
I'm not going to listen to the prayer.
Christ.
It's a... Yeah, whatever. And then I believe it's an ad. But yeah, I mean, did you hear how he talks about...
A deterrent.
The one that hits me is the one where
about the movie and how it's supposed to move you to action.
Bishops, pastors, they'll tell you. But the one that hits me is the one where I know God's here, you know? I don't know you that long. I walked in here and I feel it already. I knew it the moment I met you. I said, you're going to know this guy for the rest of your life.
Thank you. Jim, the reason I'm asking is there are some definite things that happened during that film that I would consider to be a deterrent, especially to weak people. You were electrocuted, struck by lightning. We talked about some of the other things that happened. We talked about even from the beginning when you accepted it, you knew you were going to be shunned. Do you think that was a deterrent from the devil to keep you from doing this?
Sure. On the way up the hill, he said, you're a dead man. And my response to him was, praise be to God.
Okay. We've seen enough of Jim. I can do hours. There's so much on this lunatic. So much. But I can't sit here all day. There is... I want to open that. And where is Shoe0nHead? First of all, here is how our Operation Underground Railroad classifies this movie, Sound of Freedom. A documentary. They're claiming. It's true. They're claiming. This is a documentary. There's been no corroboration of the stories that Tim Ballard has told. In fact, from the moment he got on the scene, people have criticized his tactics because when we started doing all of this, we learned... I'm just going to read from my mind instead. We learned that if we go in with guns blazing and Rambo style, we're gonna create trauma for these kids for the rest of their lives. That it's just gonna double everything they felt during their capture. You know, it's gonna just add on, and that's not good. We want to minimize that. And also what we've discovered quite early on in our attempts to mitigate child trafficking is you do not go in and ask for younger kids. You do not flash a lot of money in front of their faces and go, send me a younger one. Because that's going to create a demand. Now the trafficker is going to think, oh, I need someone even younger than the people I already have. There's a family over there. Let me just murder the parents and take the kids. Or buy the kids from the parents because they're in such financial such a financial rot that they have no choice pretty much. Tim Ballard, one of his first missions, a mission he's talked about a lot, and he invited a Mormon mommy blogger onto this mission, who has later gone on to write an article in Slate where she regrets going on the mission and she talks about everything Tim Ballard did wrong there. And he can't understand why. Someone must have gotten to her, you know? No, she says 2 of the kids that were saved had just been captured. He created a demand and the trafficker filled it. And you want to make him a hero. By the way, in the interview we just watched, at the end, he's saying, oh, we have the Sound of Freedom 2 in the works. Apparently there's already a script. Can't wait for Sound of Freedom 5 to come out. But no, the Tim Ballard creates the demand. And the trafficker just fills it. And he wonders, why is it that no other organization likes him? Nobody else talks about his things. What he's doing, and if you read, there's so many articles to read in so many different outlets. If you read everything, you can piece together the whole puzzle. You realize he wants to create, because he had a series in mind from the start. That's his first idea. He had a TV series where he would have these children, or he would film the raids and then make a show about it. He's selling sensationalism. He's not trying to help kids. He's trying to make a buck. That's who Tim Ballard is. That's probably why he's been ousted forcefully from his own organization. I hope, at least. We're probably going to get details of that sooner or later. But I can only speculate at the time, because this happened like 2 weeks ago or something. Just as the movie hit the theaters, Tim Ballard was out from our. I can't blame them. I would, yeah. It's a. But no, he just wants, because he just wants sensationalism. He has donors, billionaire donors, who fund his projects. They fund a raid, and then they get a video of the raid, and they can feel proud. Yeah, they might just have gotten off the Lolita Express, but they can feel proud that down in Congo, down in Colombia, in Haiti, there's no sex ring there anymore. You know? A man can feel proud of that. So here is Shoe0nHead. And now we get to the drama. I want to say one thing first. I got a lot of harassment. I don't care. It doesn't stick. I did try to go through some comments here earlier, and I can't find anyone saying anything about me. I'm guessing she has my name blocked. I can't find anything about me being a groomer or me being a pedo or whatever. None of that can I find. And I appreciate that, at least. Let me sure. Okay, thank you. Good. You've blocked the slanderous accusations in the comment section, at least. Let's listen to the video.
Like this movie, so you have to.
And I don't need it to be 2 times the speed here. She speaks plenty fast. When I look into Shoe0nHead's eyes, I do see something. I see someone looking back at me there. Unlike Jim Caviezel.
If there is one thing in the world that would make me want to see a movie, it's the entire mainstream media in unison telling me not to see it.
And therein lies my critique of the media. I don't think the media should have gone this hard on it. Vanity Fair actually does write something interesting here, and I believe Shoe repeats it, or at least shares the same ideas. Here, okay, yeah, of course, the highlighted text. If this movie had been released shortly after it was made, that might not have happened. Oh, sorry. In 2018, when Monteverde was making his movie, these critics weren't part of the conversation. And these critics are...
It's the entire mainstream media in the world that would telling me...
It's all of these critics. I never in a million years imagined that this would be political, he said, of the film, which would become a Ballard biopic, albeit one that takes great liberties with the facts. After all, he says, I saw the piece on child trafficking on the mainstream media. So apparently the director who wrote the movie wrote it without Ballard at first, and then he got introduced to Ballard, and then he created this Sound of Freedom movie instead after that, based around Ballard. So the entire movie wasn't made that way, okay? On mainstream media, I always thought that this was going to be a film that we would all come together over. If this movie had been released shortly after it was made, that might have happened. Sound of Freedom was independently produced for a reported $14.5 million and financed mainly by a group of Mexican backers, according to the filmmakers. And those Mexican backers are billionaires. Billionaires. You know, the people, have you heard of these billionaires? The people who, I don't know, have islands and they have planes and they have politicians on the planes. And those politicians land on these islands, and then they have parties with people you don't ask the age of, okay? Those kind of billionaires? Okay, got it. But like many other projects, the film lost its distributor when Disney acquired 21st Century Fox in 2019. Sound of Freedom remained on the shelf until it was picked up by Provo, Utah-based Angel Studios in 2023, with a plan to release the film in theaters around the country. The reason that the controversy surrounding this movie wouldn't have happened then... The reason this controversy around this movie wouldn't have happened back then is because people didn't know about Tim Ballard back then. This movie would probably have been the prompt for all the investigation into him. But those would have come out long after the movie. Well, not maybe long after, but sometime after. Making the movie stand on its own instead. But because all of this information has come out about Tim Ballard and Jim Caviezel, who it seems have been groomed by this movie, by making this movie. It seems like he was groomed first by Tim Ballard, and then he just went deeper. And that's how he got into QAnon. Through this movie. Through making this movie. And here they say that no claims, no conspiracies, no word political broadly, blah, 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 in the movie. So, yeah. But I can see why you shouldn't just make this blanket statement, don't go watch the movie. If you're a large media production, don't do that. It's idiotic. People won't listen. People will revolt against it. Don't. But also, and it feeds the conspiracy in and of itself, you know? And that's probably the major reason why you shouldn't do it. But still, they're not wrong because of it.
Not to see it. And okay, I know that's a little contrarian brained. I know.
A little?
But I'm at the point in my life where if the mainstream media told me not to put a metal fork in an electrical outlet, I'm putting the fork in the outlet.
Okay.
Very trad wife today. Very little house on the prairie today. Very QAnon coded. This is a dog whistle. So I just saw the Sound of Freedom. And I want my money back. I waited 2 whole hours for the satanic elite cabal Democratic Party pizza parlor scene that I was promised by the media, and it never came. I bought tickets.
The media told you. They said it. It's not in the movie. They said it's not in the movie.
Under the impression that it was some far-right Q movie. And instead, it was just some boring movie about human trafficking. Would journalists really do that to me? Would journalists really go on the internet and tell lies? For those of you who don't know, Sound of Freedom is an independent film from Angel Studios, based on a true story about Tim Ballard, a federal agent that went undercover and rescued trafficked children in South America. People have criticized the film for being a bit exaggerated, and I tend to agree. I mean, a good federal agent? Really? The Sound of Freedom was actually made around 2018, but was shelved by Disney and then later picked up by Angel Studios. Disney was like, no, sorry, we can't make this movie. We need to make the 500th soulless live-action remake. No time for this, we need to make live-action Moana, even though—
That's capitalism. Remember Batgirl? I don't, because it never came out.
The animated one came out like last fucking Thursday. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about the movie itself, what I honestly thought about it, if you should see it. Then I'm going to get into the insane media circus surrounding this movie because, oh my god. Also, there is a reoccurring character in the Shoe0nHead cinematic universe that makes an appearance, and when he appears, you will scream. So I'm going to give you an extremely honest review of Sound of Freedom, completely unbiased and from the heart. It was aight.
And yet,
well, welcome to the
no. What? I know, so didn't. The most important movie ever made. But I believe Tim Pool said that as well. Could be wrong. No, he tweeted it, didn't he? He tweeted it from Pool. What's his account? It's not Tim Pool. Tim Pool. People. Timcast. From Timcast. Sound of Freedom. Sorry about that. Had to do a bit of an errand. I know I believe I've seen Tim. Wait. He's never even said movie? Oh, people, that's why. Sound of Freedom is one of the best movies I've ever seen in a long time. 10/10 would definitely recommend. It's astroturfed.
It was just a very...
And, by the way, I don't think she's astroturfing it. I think she's genuine. But Tim Pool? Oh, that's payola for you. That's payola.
Very normal, good movie. It had some pacing issues, there were a few corny lines. Never trust a pedophile. What if that was your daughter, Jorge? Hear that? That's the Sound of Freedom. I don't know why this movie is classified as an action thriller. I expected him to go like Rambo.
It's classified as a documentary, according to his own organization, apparently.
On the traffickers a few times, but that never happened. And I guess like that wasn't the point of the movie. The point of the movie wasn't some like bloodlust action film where a cop goes rogue and just like murders a bunch of dudes. It was just a really real and like raw story about human trafficking. It was very grounded in reality. I teared up about...
And we saw Jim Caviezel talk about how he grounds the movies so as not to scare the audience. It's kind of like Scientology in a way, you know? It's kind of like how Scientologists talk about helping you. They give you tools to better your life. They show famous people who are in Scientology openly and show, look how famous and successful they are. Ignore the recent rape allegations. But look, Tom Cruise. He's the world's greatest actor. And he's in Scientology. And you can become just as good as him if you just follow our programs. And they start off with actual helpful advice to people, you know? They give them actionable things to do. And then they say, when people have experienced it and they've been given, they've seen improvements in their lives, in their thinking, in their mental health. And the issue is it's always short term. These are things you have to work on long term. But short term, you can do certain things to help yourself, you know, feel better at work and stuff like that. But short term. But then it starts to wane off and they say, but if you really want to change your life, you need this program. And then you need that program. And then you need blah, 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 and then eventually they start talking about thetans and how they're corrupting your body and how you need to rid your life of thetans. And only then can you be free. And only when you get to like level 7, 6, 7 out of 8, I think. I'm not read up on my Scientology anymore. Only then will they introduce Sinu. And you go, because you've said yes all the way there. This movie is the same thing. They front you, it's a bait and switch, but I'd call it a front. They front you with a grounded, reasonable dad action comedy. Or not comedy, sorry. Dad action drama, you know? Oh, the white savior going down to Mexico, because everything in South America is Mexico, to save the kids from the salsa, you know? Those people. They will look at this movie. They go, oh my God. And then they'll research Tim Ballard and they see like an interview of him talking about all of these missions he's gone on. Or they'll watch like from the raids, you know. And then they'll catch a Jim Caviezel interview, which we've seen in this stream, where he starts talking about adrenochromes and he starts talking about these rings and and QAnon and the Storm and devil worshippers and all of this. And then he says, but the fact checkers, you can't trust them. Only the fact checkers I choose. Okay? And people go, yes. Because they bought the Tim Ballard lie. So they're going to buy this lie. And then they go down the road. That's how the game is played. I didn't read the entire thing here, I just realized. So let's just do that before. A significant portion of the U.S. population is susceptible to being radicalized. 21% of U.S. adults self-identify as QAnon believers. 21%. 41% of U.S. adults believe that elites, politicians, and or celebrities are involved in global pedophile rings. I don't know about global. That's like the one thing I'm... Global? Not necessarily. We don't need global pedophile rings, okay? In spite of deplatforming efforts by social media companies, white supremacists and other violent far-right extremist groups on encrypted chat platforms are using human trafficking disinformation as a way to recruit disillusioned QAnon followers to join their movement. A coordinated multi-stakeholder effort is needed to develop and implement strategies to impart the truth about human trafficking in a way that is compelling to both susceptible audiences and to audiences already convinced of the false narrative. They talk about in the report. Why is no? Oh, thank God! I thought I froze. They go on to talk in the report about how they use the child trafficking disinformation and how this is probably going to be a mainstay in radicalization. Okay, we're gonna see every far right radical movement, every conspiracy theory surrounding child trafficking. That's gonna be like a mainstay, kind of like Illuminati. You know, that's gonna be right next to Illuminati. Illuminati is gonna be the child pedo rings. And that's not to say, and I haven't said it in this stream, but that's not to say that there aren't child pedo rings. Just that you don't battle it. And it doesn't look like the way our and Tim Ballard and Jim Caviezel and all the other people involved in this describe it. That's the critical difference. This is not what PDF files are doing generally. The biggest organization involved in kitty diddling is the Catholic Church. Jim Caviezel is a Catholic. Tim Ballard is a Mormon. Now, I don't know about you. Oh, what? Thank you, AP. Okay. Arizona court upholds clergy privilege in child abuse case. They've been protecting child abusers in the Mormon church as well. This is not unique to to billionaires, elites. Well, actually, I mean, the church elders are absolutely elites. The Catholic Church is absolutely elite. I'm not hearing Tim Ballard or anyone else involved in this talk about the church. Probably because she is dating a Catholic, a deeply devoted Catholic.
3 times, maybe 4 times. I actually teared up during the corny ass "that's the sound of freedom" part. I was like so mad at myself for that. And a really important part that I just cannot stress enough is how apolitical this movie was. There was no politics,
By
no
design.
culture war, nothing about the gays,
That's
nothing
what we've
about
seen.
the Jews. I left the theater like, that's it? It had no real narrative besides human trafficking bad, which is why I find the media's reaction so interesting. Article.
If ISIS, just to grab a random organization, if ISIS made a movie attacking bigotry, do you think it might be propaganda even if you can't detect it? Maybe. Do you think maybe if Scientologists did a movie based on L. Ron Hubbard's writings, it's intended as propaganda? But only if it succeeds. There's been a movie made by John Travolta, Battlefield Earth. It's an amazing movie. It's a it's a corny movie. It's got 1 star. Came out in 2000s. Now, this movie didn't succeed, obviously. But if it had, there's no doubt in my mind that Scientologists would use it as propaganda. Look at how successful our movie was. And that's only thanks to our programs that you can take care of if you look here. Just pay us $2,000 every week.
After article after article, smearing this movie as far-right QAnon propaganda. Now, what exactly is the Q connection in this movie? What connects this movie?
I wonder, by the way, let's see here, Vanity Fair. No, okay. Battlefield Earth. Nothing. Rolling Stones. Magazine. There we go. And Battlefield Earth. Not Earth. What? Battlefield Earth. Whatever. Let's do custom range. Let's see what people were saying about this movie when it came out. 2001. 01. There we go. And I want news. Really? There was no nothing? Nobody talked about it even? That's even better. Like I said, that's what I wanted to happen to this movie. But I'm guessing... Here we go. Not a Swedish one. Battlefield Earth. The founder of Scientology. The film contains no evidence of Scientology or any other systems of thought. It is shapeless and senseless without a compelling plot or character we care for in the slide. The director, Roger Christian, has learned from better films that directors sometimes tilt their cameras, but has not learned why. So they're just ragging on it. All right. John Travolta again faces accusations of peddling Scientology propaganda 23 years ago. This time through his latest film, the sci-fi folly Battlefield Earth. Entertainment Weekly reports that the cult awareness group Cult Watch has charged that the movie, adapted from a novel of Scientology founder L. Ron Hubbard, contains subliminal pro-Scientology messages, and that the controversial sect secretly financed the film. Insists producer and star Travolta there's no correlation at all to Scientology. Even in the preface, Hubbard made it clear that this is simply a science fiction book. Director Roger Christian chimes in, I know there are wars going on against the church, and I knew we would be used for that. Okay, you knew that. But when people have asked if there are subliminal messages, I've said yes, there are, because I've buried messages about Buddhism. I'm basically a Buddhist, and I'm at the helm of this thing. So if anyone should accuse the movie of promoting something, it should be my philosophy. So...
after article smearing this movie as far-right QAnon propaganda. Now, what exactly is the Q connection in this movie? What connects this movie to QAnon? Like, I don't know, maybe I missed the adrenochrome scene. Maybe Hillary Clinton came out and sacrificed a baby while I wasn't looking or something. So I went to the Wikipedia just to be sure I didn't miss any of the good scenes. Although the film does not mention any QAnon conspiracy theories. Oh. There was none. Caviezel has endorsed the belief that child traffickers drain children's blood to obtain adrenochrome, a chemical with supposed anti-aging properties. Okay, but doesn't Peter Thiel literally do that?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, not really, but yeah. He's a fucking psycho. But this movie is about people in Colombia. Do you think Peter Thiel has to go to Colombia if he wanted to? I'm not saying he does, but if he wanted to, do you think he has to go to Colombia to get in on the action, so to say?
So basically the main actor believes in some insane conspiracy theory about rich people trafficking children or something like that.
Well, and Tim Ballard as well.
Who believes in that crazy nonsense, am I right? Not me. No, but apparently he believes in like a bunch of QAnon type stuff, and he's a little kooky.
And Christ is your sword. May you join Saint Michael and all the angels.
He's promoting the movie. I believe here he was actually raising money for the movie. For the tickets, I think. That scheme, I think.
Sending Lucifer and his henchmen straight right back to hell where they belong.
But who among us is not a little kooky? He's an actor in the movie. He didn't direct the movie. He didn't write the movie. So I don't know why all the criticism of the actor and his opinions are being lumped in with... Who is getting arrested out there? Stop it. Tom Cruise is a f***ing Scientologist. I didn't hear anyone shitting and pissing about the new Mission Impossible movie being a dog whistle for Scientology. You think...
Because Tom Cruise doesn't go around advocating for Scientology when doing pressers for the movie. Tom Cruise doesn't connect Mission Impossible and Scientology because he is a Scientologist. So, I mean, we've seen Jim Caviezel. I've shown Jim Caviezel promote QAnon right next to this movie. But we're not supposed to connect the two, okay?
Hollywood isn't infested with the weirdest fucking people
Yeah, Jim Caviezel.
you'll ever meet in your life. An actor having conspiracies about rich, powerful pedophiles is probably the most sane thing you're gonna find there. In fact, you'll probably just find rich, powerful pedophiles. Sound of Freedom.
Mm-hmm. And yet you trust some of them to depict the reality?
Is a superhero movie for dads with brainworms. The QAnon-tinged thriller about child trafficking is designed to appeal to the conscience of a conspiracy-addled boomer. Caviezel, best known for being tortured to death in Mel Gibson's Passion of the Christ. What a bizarre way to describe someone playing
It's kind of
Jesus
bizarre.
in a movie. That's like someone playing JFK and being like, best known for getting his head blown off by the CIA. Also, yeah, maybe it is kind of a superhero movie for dads. Like Taken. Dads have children and will probably have a lot of empathy for children. It actually shows a lot of men crying. The QAnon movie, destroying toxic masculinity. It's a stomach-turning experience, fetishizing the torture of its child victims and lingering over lush preludes to their sexual abuse. At times, I had the uncomfortable sense that I might be arrested myself just for sitting through it. What?
I haven't seen the movie, but I've heard there are depictions of young kids in it doing cuties-like things.
Were you horny? This movie didn't show much of anything at all. Maybe you walked into the movie theater where they were showing cuties. As implausible as the movie is, it invents a finale where Balor journeys deep into a jungle alone to pluck a girl from the clutches of guerrilla militants, which he accomplishes by posing as a doctor distributing cholera vaccines. One wonders if it was extreme enough for Caviezel's liking. So this happened in the movie, but I wonder what the actor thinks of it because he believes in something else.
Yeah. And he learned that something else from Tim Ballard, who he plays in the movie. Now, forgive me for taking Jim Caviezel at his word when he says, we don't show this so we don't scare people, but we take them to the edge. And then they can do their own research. But not the research that the researcher wants because they're educated. You need my researchers. Forgive me for taking him at his own word.
We were
Forgive
so
me.
close to actually reviewing the actual movie. The actor has taken to repeating the most grotesque falsehoods of the sprawling QAnon ideology, among them that traffickers are harvesting children's organs. Compared to this nonsense, Sound of Freedom is relatively grounded in our universe. Okay? But that mainstream accessibility makes it a valuable recruitment tool. A valuable recruitment
Yes.
tool? Oh no, if you watch The Sound of Freedom, you're gonna go down the right-wing rabbit hole. On the
Just like Passion of the Christ was a Christian recruiting tool.
QAnon message board Great Awakening this week, adherents celebrated the movie's box office success. Damn, that's crazy.
They're seeing it as their movie. And none of the people involved directly said, I disavow those people. Because they believe it themselves.
Crazy, bro. I wouldn't know that because I don't go on QAnon message boards like you apparently do. I love that
What that, so again, I've already seen that. I knew it was coming, but that's the weirdest critique I've ever heard. Oh, you actually listen to the people who you critique? Oh, it's like, so the critique I have of the movie is everything surrounding it makes it QAnon conspiracy fodder. And they critique me for not having watched the movie, despite watching the movie couldn't destroy my critique of the movie. Because my critique has nothing to do with the movie. It has to do with the marketing of the movie. But she goes, oh, but you haven't watched it. But now she said, oh, why do you watch QAnon boards and then claim this is QAnon conspiracies? How else do you know if it's QAnon conspiracies?
criticism of this movie is being stretched this far. It will surely do no good to point out Sound of Freedom's white savior narrative. I mean, it is kind of based on a true story, so like...
True story, based on a true story means jack shit.
He is white. He technically is a savior, so yeah, I guess he's a white savior?
He's not a savior. Everyone who knows him, who has worked with him, tells the story of how he endangers people's lives, how he does it for sensationalism, for money. He's just fame hungry. That's all. He just wants money and he wants fame. And now he's got it.
I'm sorry they didn't race swap the main character. I bet if Disney produced this like they were originally gonna do...
Nope. Here's what they should have done. Made a movie about how child traffickers work in America. You know, so that the people watching it can actually learn something that is useful for them. Rather than going away to a land far, far away that nobody will ever set their foot in.
Maybe he would have been a woman or something.
Oh, and apparently in the movie, and this happened in real life as well, apparently, they dress up as doctors. And then they went into this village in the jungle, and they started asking around for kids. And then the elders chased them out of. And this is apparently badly depicted in the movie, but then the elders chased them out with guns. Because why are you coming here asking for children, you fucking weirdos? Yeah. And why are you dressed up as doctors? That's going to hurt every effort to help the third world with medicine, with vaccines, but they don't care about that. Helping them with vaccines, that's going to hurt them. No. Just vitamins. That's all you need. Just vitamins. It's disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting that to dress up as doctors falsely. The same goes with there's things that at least they claim, the CIA, they claim today to never do it. There are certain roles they will never dress up as. At least, again, they claim. I don't trust them, but this is the claim, and I like the claim. I hope they live up to the claim. But the claim is that they do not dress up as holy men or doctors anymore, medical staff. For the simple reason that people need to be able to trust them. And Tim Ballard fucking that up.
Or something, but no. There's visible suffering all around us in America. There are poor and unhoused, and people brutalized or killed by police. There are mass shootings, lack of healthcare, climate disasters, and yet, over and over, the far right turns to these sordid fantasies about godless monsters hurting children. Okay, wait, I agree, but like, can we not care about those things and also care about other stuff at the same time? I wish the far right cared about that other stuff, but like, I don't know, I feel like they're allowed to care about like this topic too. Also, calling it fantasies is like really weird. Like, it's based on a true story, it's still a real
Again, means jack shit.
thing that happened and does happen. Sound of
So, okay, I wanted her to just talk for a moment. The critique here that she is ignoring is the things that are laid out here in black and white, highlighted even, are the things that would actually help trafficked people or prevent people from becoming trafficked. Going in, guns blazing, Rambo style to save the kids in Guantanamo. Not in Guantanamo, of course. In Chile. You know, that kind of stuff. It does nothing. Again, it creates a demand when they waver on the money. But they don't address the underlying issue, which is poor people, marginalized people, police departments often are in on it. They are paid off. They ignore all of those critiques and instead go for the sensationalism because that sells. And that's why this is a sordid fantasy about godless monsters hurting children. That's why them caring about this hurts, actually, rather than helps. We need to get to the underlying issues, not the superficial ones that they like to care about.
Like, it's based on a true story. It's still a real thing that happened.
No, it isn't.
Sound of Freedom is an anti-child trafficking fantasy fit for QAnon. Again with the QAnon in the title. Again. Also calling it a fantasy. Are these journalists like all in the same group chat? Are they all in like the same Discord server just copying each other's work? A few qualifications.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. It's possible. Or they're wondering, wait, or they're reading each other, you know, in the newspaper. Have you seen this piece by that person? Oh, I used to work with them. What have they written? Oh, look at that. Oh, my God. And then they dive deeper. And, hey, they wrote for this smaller outlet. Let me put it on in Vice or in Vanity Fair or Daily Beast or whatever, you know? And maybe people can learn something about who the people behind this movie are and why that's problematic.
Up front. The exploitation of children is a real problem that no one besides the exploiters wants. Well, okay, at least we can all agree on that. And most of the article is just about the actors' opinions.
Yeah, because he conflates the opinions with the movie.
The movie itself is well acted, it looks expensive, and it moves at a rapid clip. I feel no urge to ever see it again, but I can't say I wasn't entertained in some way. Oh, of course, this is tailored to go down easy. That's how propaganda works.
Yep.
God damn it. Sound of Freedom, the QAnon-adjacent thriller seducing America. I love this. QAnon tinge. QAnon adjacent. I love how, this has very QAnon vibes, sweetie. It's supposed to just be good enough to turn people away from this movie. Like, I imagine my mom reading this. She has no idea what QAnon is. Like, what does this even mean to the average person?
How can you live in America and don't know what QAnon is? That's like the one thing you should know about. Why did January 6th happen? Oh, QAnon, okay. He has no idea what QAnon is. I don't believe you. I do not believe you.
Because they can't call the movie QAnon, because it's not. Oh look, more of the actors' opinions. He's a fucking conservative, of course he's retarded. The uninitiated may not pick up on the red yarn and corkboard subtext pinned to a mostly straightforward extraction mission in South America, pretty much taken with a faint whiff of something noxious in the air. Those tuned in to the eardrum frequency of QAnon, however, have heeded a clarion call that leads right to the multiplex. The traffickers are anonymous foreigners, mentioned as rebels, in an unspecified regional conflict with no connection to the alleged Clinton crime family. A coating of plausible deniability covers a film that takes care to be the most anodyne version of itself, all while giving those in the know just enough to latch onto. Yeah, so this movie had nothing to do with QAnon whatsoever, but it secretly did. These
I'm just repeating myself.
strains of scaremongering are absent in the text itself, but they lurk in the shadows. There's nothing bad in the movie, but it's lurking in the shadows. I'm gonna be completely honest, I think you might be the conspiracy theorist here. QAnon and Sound of Freedom both rely on tired Hollywood
There we go.
tropes by Noah Berlatsky. Noah Berlatsky. Noah Berlatsky. Where do I know that name? Meet Noah Berlatsky. Now our friend Noah has some interesting takes. Pedophiles are essentially a stigmatized group. Certain people get designated as deviants. People hate them. Parents are tyrants. Parent is an oppressive class, like rich people or white people. He also wrote a few blogs on the Prostasia website. Child sex workers' biggest threat, the police. Okay, let's back up for a second. There's no such thing as a child sex worker, Noah. That's called a human trafficking victim. He's the
I do not disagree with what she's saying here.
fucking journalist who got mad at me like a year ago for criticizing the Netflix movie Cuties. Angel Studios, which created the thriller, insists that the movie itself isn't related to QAnon, and after sitting through the 2-hour-long movie, I think Angel Studios has a point. The film doesn't explicitly reference QAnon talking points. Instead, in many ways, it echoes and reproduces themes and tropes around trafficking that are common in mainstream Hollywood cinema. The literal
Yeah. And then Jim Caviezel connects the two. And the people will listen. But also, that's kind of the problem. Why didn't Taken get celebrated? Was it Taken 5? Taken movie series. How many are there on? Taken 3? 2014. Okay. So that came out. But where was this movement of people being like, oh my God, people are getting trafficked? Or You Were Never Here. I haven't heard of this movie before, but I want to see it now. Came out in 2017. Where was QAnon here? It's a perfect QAnon movie, you know? Did it come out late or early in the year? Release date May 2017. March 9th. Oh, that can. So March 9th, 2018. April 6th, 2018. Was when it came out in the US. QAnon was in full swing at that point, right? Full swing. So why didn't they latch on to that one? And that's an action movie. That's an action movie about kids being kidnapped and exploited in America by powerful people in America, you know? And apparently there's a police conspiracy involved in it. You know, why didn't they latch on to that one?
pedophile simp was more fair to this movie than the average journalist.
Does that make you a pedophile simp?
He goes on to talk about how the movie is like inaccurate because 41% of children are actually trafficked from people they know like in their family. And maybe that's true, but like I don't understand how that's a valid criticism of the movie because the movie is based on one thing, like a real thing that happened.
She keeps going back to this. It is embarrassing. Embarrassing to think based on a real story means anything. That's If I say that, oh, but it's based on a real story, kill me. Just do it. I don't care.
It's like watching a movie about a plane
I'm clearly not me anymore then.
crash and being like, actually, more people die in car accidents. They just kind of seem like they're reaching for literally anything.
No. However, if you make a big blockbuster movie, which obviously this has become due to the astroturfing we talked about, and you claim it's based on a real story, and you connect it in interviews with bad things, people are gonna associate the bad things with the real story.
Is Sound of Freedom a QAnon dog whistle? Or is it just another thriller? The answer is that, whatever the filmmaker's intentions, it functions as both. Great, awesome, thank you. Thank you as always, Noah, for your delightful contribution to the discourse. I love this large disclaimer at the bottom here. We do not claim this man. If this movie came out a few years
So, gold, yellow, Fred Perry polo. Have you ever seen this polo before? Is this polo something you're familiar with? It looks awfully familiar to me. Where have I seen it before? Where have I seen that before? Proud Boys. What? Oh, they've added a white line. Wait, is it gold? Wait, gold. No, come on. I know they've pulled it from at least the US market. They might have pulled it all together since then. Maybe. It's possible. The reason they pulled it from the American market to North American market is because of this. They didn't want to be associated with the Proud Boys. They saw what was happening and they said, we don't like that, so they pulled it. They said, we're being used by far-right extremists to help them spread the message. And we don't like that. So we're going to pull the product. That's, if they don't condemn it at the very least, they are condoning it. This is how you handle it. You pull the product. You condemn the people. And nobody will think you are involved in it. And that's how QAnon dog whistle, or is it just another thriller? The answer is, whatever the filmmaker's intentions, it functions as both. That's how this sentence is true. It can function as both. The Fred Perry gold double-striped black polo is just a polo that Fred Perry put out, but it functions as propaganda for the Proud Boys unless they pull it from the market.
large disclaimer at the bottom here. We do not claim this man. If this movie came out a few years ago like it was supposed to, I really don't think anyone would have cared. People were literally coming.
Yeah, we saw that in Vanity Fair. She's just echoing that sentiment, sure. Here we go. Here's me. Here's the drama. Here's the tea.
Movie came out a few years ago like it was supposed to, I really don't think anyone would have cared. People were literally coming at.
People, she said. People were literally coming at her.
At me like, oh, don't see this movie. It's a QAnon movie. And I'd be like, how is it a QAnon movie? And they'd be like, I don't know. I didn't see it. Then shut the f*** up. These people are.
Shoe, I'm going to speak directly to you now. Oh, that wasn't my intention. I was actually trying to go here. This is the only tweet you're showing. And then you say, people got at you. But you're just showing me. And you're cropping me. Remember what I had here? Did I watch Birth of a Nation? Fuck no. I still know it's KKK propaganda. Did I watch Cuties? Fuck no. I still know it's creepy as hell. I don't need to watch it for that. And my critique of the movie, if you hadn't blocked me, you might have learned this, has nothing to do with what's in the movie. And I think I've conclusively proven that in this stream.
On movie and they'd be like, I don't know, I didn't see it. Then shut the fuck up. These people are literally just being told, the people
these people, again, just me,
you don't like this movie, so you have to not like it. You literally don't have to do that. Nobody has a gun to your head. Nobody's telling you to run off.
Remember she said, if media tells me not to stick a fork in an outlet, I'm going to do it. Remember that? The people don't like it, so she has to like it now. You know, that's her brain. This is projection, Shoe. This is projection. I've read about Jim Caviezel before. I'm gonna admit it. Okay. I'm gonna meet you halfway. Can we meet each other halfway here, Shoe? My tweet, and I'm gonna just. Can I not? Oh, because of that. My tweet was badly written, badly formulated. But I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. I've proven that extensively in here. Everything I've read about this person, everything I've read about this organization, everything I've read about Tim Ballard just screams charlatan to me. Jim Caviezel screams of psychopath. Hollywood psychopath. The worst there is. And you think that means nothing for the movie? He's not, he doesn't pick movie. This, he said, this is the most important movie after Passion of the Christ. And why did he do Passion of the Christ? Because he wanted to bear the cross. That was his cross to bear. He didn't want to get crushed under the cross. He wanted to be crucified. The dude has apparently, reportedly, told an executive that he is Jesus Christ. The dude is Coco. He thinks he's a Navy SEAL because he trained with the Navy SEALs once. He's friends with Navy SEALs, and that makes him Navy SEAL, apparently. Can I... Here. This is... What's that? What? Why are you wearing a Navy SEAL badge? This badge is for Navy SEALs. This is called stolen valor. But he actually thinks that he's one of them. Here's reports from people who worked with him on set of Person of Interest. Dude is a crazy Christian religious nut who also believes in all the crazy Q shit. He's compared himself in the past to Jesus and John Paul II. Him, along with Mel Gibson, believes they'd be persecuted for filming Passion of the Christ, and believes he still is, literally described himself as one of the top 5 actors in Hollywood before filming Passion. Sure. On the set of Person of Interest, everyone considered him the dumbest man alive. Which is also why he's so dangerous on the set, above everything else. Apparently, he choked people out, because that's what his character would do. It's called acting. Look into it. In one scene filmed in Manhattan, he's supposed to be driving to chase someone. He's just supposed to pull out and stop the car for the camera. Instead, he goes full blast, runs a red light, and nearly hits 4 pedestrians. When asked why, and I believe they'd had nothing to do with the production. When asked why he would do such a thing, he said, "It's because that's what the character would do." After this, he was quickly banned from any scenes involving him driving, and a stunt double would do that. Hey, Screen Dream, this is the end of the stream, I'm afraid. Let's see here. Well, there was something else I know. He's also racist, homophobe, and misogynist. Who would have thought? Oh, right. He didn't want to shoot a scene where his character rescued a gay couple because it was against his religion. Eventually, he agreed after someone told him about 9/11. I believe that someone is, thank you, Screen Dream, that someone is like a producer or an agent or something, someone above him at least. Eventually, he agreed after someone told him about 9/11 firefighters rescuing everyone, not caring what they believed or who they were with. He then agreed, but went the whole day repeating that as if he believed that what he was doing was as noble as the 9/11 firefighters. He's just walking around like, oh, he's like Trump. And I'm not, this isn't my words. These are the words of QAnon Anonymous, the people you can see here. Listen to this episode if you can. It's amazing. Yeah. But people walk around, he's like walking around going, oh, but you know, the firefighters on 9/11 didn't ask people what creed or sexuality they had. They just saved people. He would do racist and anti-Semitic shit all the fucking time. He would frequently try to guess a person's ethnicity, which was often wrong, and then drop into a fake accent or language based on their perceived ethnicity. For example, he would speak with fake Chinese to an Asian person. The insane catch being that he legitimately believed his fake language was the real language, as in he believed the gibberish he spoke was actually Mandarin Chinese, despite being told by actual speakers that he's just said a bunch of nonsense and not Chinese. The show is here, QAnon Anonymous, episode 143, Jim Caviezel. Just QAnon Anonymous, Jim Caviezel, and he'll get this. Right, another incident. He dropped into a fake German when he noticed a new white writer. Everyone's white is German, apparently. In the writer's room. This ties to his Hitler shit. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Person of interest. He goes around solving would-be cases before they happen, pretty much. It's about a computer AI and stuff like that. It's not that good. Dude loved to speak about Hitler and impersonated Hitler. He frequently mentioned how Hitler had the right idea but just went too far, or how Hitler was... Where have I heard this before? Oh, right. Candace Owens. Hitler was really smart about, before adding, but evil... He'd praise how organized and regimental Hitler was. Hitler was neither of those things and was famously disorganized. Again, always trying to add the caveat, but evil. Oh no, Hitler did some good things, but he was evil. He would also impersonate Hitler, believing it to be the funniest thing in the world. This was constant. Showrunners, including Jonathan Nolan, obviously couldn't stand the guy, but he was the lead actor, and so they had to tolerate his behavior. Once the show was over, CBS was looking to cast him in the lead for a Navy SEALs show, so you know, his wet dream. People who worked on the show frantically called CBS executives and boss to get them to understand why that would be such a terrible idea. Again, imagine this dude near weapons. Les Moonves was sent dailies of shit he did on Person of Interest and decided to shut the pilot show down. Apparently got revived. So that's who this person is,
being told the people you
I'm not told by anyone what to think or what to say. I'm just reading about these people. I'm just listening to their words, and I'm taking their words for gospel when they talk about themselves, what they believe in. I trust that they know what they believe in themselves, and they believe this movie is a gateway to QAnon, and the satanic cabal will finally be destroyed. You know, I have a hard time with any police show that isn't The Wire. Yeah. You know what? I need to stay focused. Sorry, Scream. I need to stay focused on this. It's late and I need to end the stream, actually. I need to finish this video.
do that. Nobody has a gun to your head. Nobody's telling you to run offense for the human trafficking movement.
And nobody's telling you to run defense either, Shoe.
Nobody's telling you to run defense for cuties. And yet they do it. And let me make...
Who's they in this? You talked about people, but you just showed me. And then you talk about how these people, how they...
Trafficking movie. Nobody's telling you to run defense for cuties.
Running defense for cuties. Shoe. You've only shown me in this video. I'm the only tweet you bring up. And then you talk about people. And you say that when you show the tweet.
It was supposed to. I really don't think anyone would have cared. People were literally coming...
People were literally. And just me. What's up, mi amigo? It's just me. Not people. Just me. I have no words. I have no words to describe the... You know, I have one word to describe it. Lying. You're lying, Shoe. Are you dumb? Did you break your head? Did you fall? Did you have a boo-boo? Did someone scramble your brains? What is going on? And remember me. Remember, if you saw earlier in the stream. No, not that one. Let me not free scroll Twitter. Perhaps would be a good idea. On while I'm streaming, I'm gonna find my tweet. Here we go. This is the tweet. Did you see it? Did I watch it? No, fuck no, I didn't. Did I watch it? No, fuck no, I didn't. But she removes this. And she removes this part. I've also not watched Cuties, but can tell you it's pedophilic. So, who's these people running defense for Cuties? Shoe?
So you have to not like it. You literally don't have to do that. Nobody's telling you to run defense for Cuties. And yet they do it. And let me...
Who's they? Am I they? Because I'm the only person I've
make
seen.
this clear. If you don't want to support
So fuck you, fuck you, Shoe.
movie because you just morally disagree with one of the actors in it,
No.
that's fine.
No.
But don't go around smearing it as the Q movie when it's just factually not. You think if Eyes Wide Shut came out today, they would call it QAnon? Probably. I mean, they did kill the director shortly after. Now, the one big criticism I do
She's so conspiracy brained.
actually share with the critics of this movie is the ending. At the end, after...
This was the part that I haven't heard until now. This just exonerates me. Exonerates me. Every critique I've had exonerates me.
the credits, the main character gives
The Godzilla beat?
this little speech about how
You mean the Eminem song? I think this came out. She's had that music since forever. I think it's some generic from YouTube, actually.
important this movie was and how terrible human trafficking is.
Thank you all for coming out and watching this movie. I'm guessing some of you are feeling sad, maybe overwhelmed, or even...
This is not the character. It's sampled from Godzilla? Really? Okay. This is not the character. This is the actor speaking here. Remember that.
in a sense of fear, which is understandable. But living in fear isn't how we solve this problem.
And I expected him to, like...
That's interesting. He's directing the people watching the movie to do something. Oh my God. It's a call to action at the end of the movie. From the QAnon actor.
direct the audience to more information or how they can help or charities, but instead he just threw up like a QR code where you can buy more tickets to this movie for other people in order to spread the word. Which, I mean, sure, the movie's good and it will get people talking, but what can the average normal person do besides talking about your movie and buying tickets to your movie? It was the last thing we saw before walking out of the theater, and it just kind of left like a bad taste in my mouth. Like, you not only leave the theater feeling sad, you leave it feeling powerless. Like, oh, there's this terrible thing happening and I can't do anything about it except buy more tickets to this movie. I must save the children. It's like me being like, if you want to save the children, donate to my Patreon. So do I recommend this movie? Yeah, for 3 reasons.
So she's so close. It's like I'm this close to understanding the critique that people have of the movie. Didn't the conservatives try to astroturf the movie by buying up seats and leaving empty theaters? Yes, and that's what the call to action on the end is, to buy more tickets for other people. And that's how Sound of Freedom no. Where's the donation page? Paid forward, here it is. That's how this movie, because this is where the QR code takes you, I'm guessing, sold 10 million tickets, but only by 242,000 contributors. So a lot of people bought a lot of tickets, or few people bought a lot of tickets for other people that never got picked up. It's a complete astroturf, and she gets the image at the end that leaves a bad taste in her mouth, and she still doesn't understand it. She still doesn't understand that that's the point of the movie. The first one. So they're already working on the second movie, and that was in the works from the beginning, probably when they realized when they saw how popular this paid forward scheme became, because Angel Studios has done this before apparently, but now they tapped into a more broader audience than the Christian fundamentalists. They tapped into QAnon, and they love to spend money on things they think will rid the cabal from this world, you know? So yeah, it's complete AstroTurf. And so close to seeing it.
1, it was pretty good. 2, so you can say you actually saw it and your criticisms will be valid. And
fuck you.
Most importantly, 3, to own the libs. So did you...
She hasn't done the why I left the left video yet. I don't think she will do that. It's not gonna go over with her audience. It's like Dave Rubin. He was told by Dennis Prager, no, don't come out as Christian or as a conservative. We need you as a liberal, because that's how we convert people to conservatism. Anna's definitely beating her to it.
You see this movie, and what did you think of it? And if you like this video, please subscribe, donate to my Patreon to save the children. It's the only way you can save the children, hurry!
Like, she's joking, but that's what they did. I'm just gonna see here if I missed something. I did that. Yeah, so my main critique is of Shoe in this case, is she's just grifting at this point. I don't know. I hoped that her left-wing trajectory was honest, but I don't think I can claim that anymore. She's losing every friend she has on the left. It's over. It's over for her to as a left-wing grift. Actually, it's quite astounding. Let's see if I had anything else. So, the critique I have of this movie and why it's feeding QAnon, just to cap off this video. How is it feeding QAnon if it's not directly about QAnon? Well, as Jim Caviezel explains in his plethora of interviews that's out there to view if you want to, there's too much for me to go over. This movie will bring people to the edge where they will start asking questions themselves. They might look at interviews with Jim Caviezel, promoting the movie, talking about the experiences of the movie, and that's where he hooks his claws into you. That's where he introduces you to the QAnon conspiracy. Oh, you've seen how the cabal is trying to hide this movie from you, except it's on every theater in the country. But apparently the cabal isn't strong enough to prevent that somehow. You see how the cabal is preventing you from seeing the movie. That's why you need to pay for more. It's I don't know. That's it. Go fuck yourself, Yoon. Shoe, please. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. And there's an open invitation to anyone out there. Anyone. You want to debate me on this? You want to talk to me about this? I am open. Shoe, you blocked me. And then you made a video where you called me a fucking pedo apologist. And I was the only one on Twitter you called out. Why? Was it people coming at you? Was it? It's shameful. It's disgusting is the word I'd use. Your behavior is disgusting, June. Decoy voice. I challenge you as well. Please, if you want to talk about this, if you want to have a discussion about this, I can be cordial. I can be friendly. But if I think you're hiding your power levels, I'm gonna call them out. Getting dog-pilled by big YouTubers seeking their audience on you sucks. Yeah, it's a nasty move. That's for sure. Blocked you, then demanded a video, then made a video bashing you. Yeah, that's a bitch for you. That is a bitch for you. That's for sure. It is 10:30 almost here in the evening. I have a long travel day tomorrow. And I probably shouldn't be streaming because when I speak, I can get quite loud without thinking about it. So I am going to end this here. I have so much to stream about when I... Thank you, Screen Dream. I have so much to stream about when I get back. Follow me on Twitter. I've done multiple threads that I want to talk about, but I haven't been able to because of streaming in a small apartment. I did it here due to the special circumstances of me being called out by Shoe0nHead, a 1.5 million, 1.767 million subscribers. She's had, as of right now, 307k views on this video in the first 24 hours.
Like this.
And Decoy Voice, who did the exact same thing, just me in the video, nobody else. He's had almost 600 views on his channel, on his video. And I'm a fucking nobody. But I won't be scared off by this. I don't care. What the fuck are you gonna do? Anyway, get back to me. I've emailed Decoy Voice. I don't expect June to care enough to actually reply to me if I ever try, considering she blocked me. But maybe Decoy Voice. Just reply to me. Anyway, all right. Fucking X. Elon Musk, go fuck yourself as well. Oh, and that's another thing. Elon Musk. Oh, shit. Even Elon Musk endorsed this movie. The creepiest man alive endorsed this movie. Can I see it? From at Elon Musk. I believe he endorsed it, didn't he? I'm just seeing a lot of Spanish speaking. Oh, here we go. Elon Musk has offered to show Sound of Freedom for free here on Twitter to raise awareness of child trafficking and pedophilia. I don't know what happened to this. It might be false. Maybe. Because I don't remember anyone saying, oh, you can watch it here. So it might be false. It's perfectly possible to be false. But anyway, the ghouls, the elite ghouls, are endorsing this movie. And they think we're the weird ones for not endorsing, for criticizing it. Sure. Anyway, that's it. I'll probably see you guys in, I'm going to say, let's see here. I'm going to set a date. Midway through August. I'm going to be vague about it. Midway through August. About 2 weeks from now, I will be able to stream, okay? Yeah. Okay. Take care, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.